Wow. Hello, everybody watching, and welcome to our part of the Roll Plus Bond stream. Hopefully, you haven't just tuned in because there have been many great games uh, that have been on stream so far, and we also have many great games to come. Uh, we are Raw Plus Bond. Started life as a Friends at the Table fan server and evolved into something so much more. Just a hive of enthusiasts for of both bees and games. Sometimes it feels more like an enthusiast hive for bees, but we also occasionally play games. Um, we are here to raise money for Black and Pink. Um, quick blurb on them. Black and Pink National is a prison abolitionist organization dedicated to abolishing the criminal punishment system and liberating LGBTQIA2S plus people and people living with HIV/AIDS who are affected by that criminal punishment system through advocacy, support, and organizing. And I just want to take a little moment here to shout out, in particular, um, their transitions program. Launched in Omaha, Nebraska in 2018, Black and Pink National's transitions program builds a pathway towards safe housing for people who are system impacted and identify as transgender women, gender non-conforming individuals, and queer people living with HIV/AIDS. This program is really cool. They provide the down payment as well as 2 months' rent for participants, helping them overcome the housing instability, which is too often the fate of people, the fate of LGBTQIA two S plus people who are who encounter the criminal justice system. So we're really glad to be raising money for them today. I am your GM, Adam, and I will be leading our 4 very enthusiastic players today through a bit of a Crimetime medley. I think just up the top, I will briefly explain what exactly kind of mess we have gotten ourselves into. There is a game, a legendary game, I hope that everyone watching the stream either knows about or is willing to play, called Honey Heist by Grant Howitt. Honey Heist is a game of Honey Heist is best described in its own words, as a game in which you are going to undertake the greatest heist the world has ever seen. There are 2 key facts about Honey Heist. 1, you have a complex plan that requires precise timing. And 2, you are a goddamn bear. Since Honey Heist's writing, that same formula has been taken up by a majority of other artists, game creators, game designers. And what we are going to do here is we are going to play a selection of those games all at once. Those 4 games being the original Honey Heist by Grant Howitt, Sneak Honk, a game the game developed for use by Craftic Studios by emgiosia, Corvid Capers, a game by Eric Mertz, and Binge Season, which describes itself as being hacked by Guillermo Garrido with thanks to Adam LeGrave. I will now hand over to our players to have them introduce themselves, their characters, and which game that they will be playing. So over to you, Darren, to start off with.
Thanks, Adam. Well, as Adam said before, I am Darren, going by he/him pronouns. You can find me on the internet, mostly on Twitter at the Thanes Keep. all capital letters on those words. For the first letters of those words. And today I will be playing Hoss, who is a motorcycle riding, country born grizzly bear. I am using Grant Howitt's original Honey Heist for my character playbook, and I'm super excited to play this game.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Emily. I use she/her pronouns. You can find the games that I make at toomanyfeelings5.itch.io, all lowercase. One of my games, Toad and Frog Toad and Frog Get Married, just got played in this stream. So, check that out. Check my other games out. Also, donate to Black and Pink. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to be playing Guff, who is a thick-billed raven, which kind of just looks like a raven, but really big, and has like a little white spot on the back of their head, and then the tip of their beak has a little white on it too. Thick-billed ravens look really cool. And I'm going to be using Corvid Capers by Eric Mertz.
Hey everyone, my name is Adam. I am also using my pronouns are he, him. You can find the games that I write at hawk-windrider.itch.io. You can follow me on Twitter at hawkwindrider. And I am going to be playing a character from Sneak Honk. And of course, right at this moment, my game closed, so I cannot remember who wrote it. Does anyone remember who wrote Sneak Honk?
Oh no, not the pop quiz. I thought that was
Not the
coming
pop
at the end of the
quiz.
stream.
emgiosia.
Okay.
Thank
all
you.
right,
Yes,
good.
yes. And I am going to be playing a. Let's go ahead and pull this up. You'd think I'd be more prepared, but I also just woke up like half an hour ago, so But yeah, so I am playing Swan John Silver, who is a loud swan thief. They are a gentle swan thief who enjoys stealing from the rich and wealthy. I've been at this for a while. How I've been caught, I have no idea, because I am very braggadocious. I am very stealthy, but also very distracting. And my hugs strike fear into the hearts of aristocrats.
Oh boy. All right. Well,
I had
Follow that.
to mute myself, or I would have been down for the count.
very good. All right, and I'm Sean. I use they them pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Binge Season, which was hacked by Guillermo Garrido once again. I am playing Mary Lou, a rookie possum who's got a lot of charisma, but lacks the experience to have more than one reliable trick up her sleeve. She is always ready to fully commit to any bit.
Honestly, what more can you ask for? And as I forgot to do so at the top, I should just note here that my pronouns are he, him. Okay, so we have all done our starting character creation. But one key feature of these Honey Heist-alikes is that in addition to the character creation, there is also quite a lot of quest creation. So we should start off with that. So the way that this is going to work is, let me get this up. So one thing that is notable amongst all of these Honey Heist-alikes is that the 5 games tend to be comprised of these following elements: a villain, a prize, a location, and a location descriptor, except for Corvid Capers, which only has a location. and obstacles. How we are going to design a heist by each player rolling once on the table associated with your game, and cobbling together those results into some horrendous mishmash of thievery. The only exception to this is Sneak Honk, which doesn't have any associated tables. But Adam, I felt that what we could do here is you can roll on the Honey Heist or indeed any of the tables that you wish to. And if there's anything that feels not particularly goose related, we can just make it nice and goosey on the way out.
Yeah, let me go ahead and check out the Honey Heist tables.
Okay. So I'm going to.
There we go. Okay, which tables do you want me to roll on from Honey Heist?
Okay, so we'll roll. So sorry, I am just adjusting the lines in my spreadsheet to be it's the same as the ranking in our Discord.
Smart, yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think we should start with Darren first.
Yeah.
So Darren, if you could give me rolls for so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls from you, please.
Alrighty.
D6.
Let's roll. Oh, the button appears to not want to cooperate. There we go. There's 1, 2,
Is that as
3, 4, 5.
okay? So
There's a lot of ones in there.
getting them out early. Okay, so your villain descriptor is that they are ruthless and corrupt. The prize is let's take that as 1. Ultra dense mega honey from especially posh bees.
I finally found it. After all these years. Oh, if my paw could see me now.
Your location is so it's 1. So your location is creepy. And a creepy fishing village.
Oh, good.
Wow. Yeah. And finally, the obstacle is also a 1. And hold on, no, sorry, that's security features. Okay, so armed guards. So fairly sensible. Yeah, sorry.
Totally doable. Totally manageable.
Totally manageable. Okay. Emily.
Yeah.
If you would be so good as to roll, as someone playing Corvid Capers, you only need to roll 4d6.
Heck yeah. All right. Boop, 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 boop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, we almost got 1, 2, 3, 4 in that sequence.
Oh, we were so close.
Okay. Right. So your villain is I'm just taking the first one, an eccentric billionaire.
Oh, good. Okay.
the prize is order 2, a pristine bottle cap.
Ooh.
Your location. Is an auction house.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, cool. And the obstacle you've generated is a pressure-sensitive alarm system.
That makes sense for an eccentric billionaire at an auction house.
I think so too.
So
Uh,
what I decided to do for mine, because Sneak Honk does not have the tables, is I've pulled up my game, Poltergeist, which is a honey heist hack with ghosts. And I'm going to use the tables on there.
Sweet.
Good.
Yeah, 100% do it.
I was hoping we'd
Okay.
find a way to include Poltergeist.
Adam, I have a very important question for you.
Yes.
Is Swan John Silver a ghost?
Well, he wasn't before.
Okay. Let's immediately house rule this. If at any point during this game your character dies, you can come back as and start playing Poltergeist. How this?
All right, I'm down.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Wonderful. All right.
but-
Love it.
I'm
thank goodness.
yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll roll from these tables. Do you need the game? I can send you the game.
I've got it up.
Okay. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 5 rolls. Okay.
5 rolls. Yeah.
All right. Let's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness. That is a sign of things to come.
What is with these rolls?
Load's good.
We have not rolled above a 3. Oh no, Haas rolled a 6 once.
This is fine. This is fine. As long as as long as these rolls, as long as the rolls are supposed to be low and we actually
Yeah,
They're
no, this
supposed
is
to be
great.
rolling
This
up
is
and
great.
heist. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great for me. I'm playing more of a lasers and feelings hack, and my number is high, so I want to roll below it. So I'm good to go here.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
interesting.
trying not to go full criminal or full bear within the course of this stream, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay, so I think so. Yeah, this means my target that I'm trying to steal is a priceless painting.
Yep.
The location is a museum.
Yep.
There are 2 complications. Ghosts. Oh, I have to re-roll that because it's 2 of the same. Hang on.
So complications we're dealing with. Oh, okay. So complications in this system will be equivalent to obstacles. So we only need 1 of those.
Oh, so it's ghost sniffing cats.
Cool. Hell yeah.
And then the little to the ghost to know.
So that is, and little to the ghost know is something that I will set up what little to the ghost know in this. Would you like to roll another thing for your villain? Because I'm just noticed that Poltergeist does not have a villain table.
Poltergeist does not have a villain. So does Honey Heist have a villain?
Honey Heist does have a villain, yeah. I mean, it's generally a little bit more abstract than that, especially with.
Hang on, I have Corvid. Let me see what Corvid Capers has. What's the prize? Where's it kept? Who are you stealing from? Okay, yeah. So I guess that's kind of where it's the who am I stealing from museum. I think I can just abstract from there. It's a corrupt museum owner.
Cool. Oh yeah, so like someone who
it's basically the owner of the British Museum.
Okay, all right. So there are two very clear types of corrupt museum owner. Awful colonialist museum owner,
Yeah.
Okay, we're rolling with this one. Sweet. I would like to throw in there for like sort of like modern crime. There was, I can't remember which museum specifically got really hammered by this, but like there was a lot of like antiquities theft that happened, that's been happening recently due to the Syrian civil war, and this is like, and I think like a whole bunch of stolen artifacts have made their way into like the Western like art auction circuit. So I think that should, yeah, that is also kind of part of this system in a much more abstracted way, because I don't think we all would particularly want to think about wars necessarily at the moment. But it is a yeah, I'm sort of given that this is like a network in a thieving network, there's probably a lot of antiquities smuggling and theft, and people not registering the provenance. This thing just turned up in an attic somewhere. I've got no. It's like, what do you mean that it looks like a? My ancestor just had this in an attic, and I'm selling it now. I'm featuring it. What do you mean it looks
Yeah.
suspiciously like this ancient temple that used to be in this country? I don't know what you mean. Cool. All right. So I I'm going to start cobbling this together, but I think we should start with an introduction to you all's characters, and if we start at a point where you have been operating together as a thieving crew for a little while. So we're all friends here, or at least close colleagues. And to set the scene, it is the dead of night. Not a star in the sky, and not just because of the light pollution. And we are, I would say, outside of a in terms of like the camera, we sort of see this large, this large house, this like this mansion. We have to it's set behind a large ornate gate, away from the road. It really towers up into the sky, multiple stories, huge windows, sort of ornate stone filigree, running beneath the windows, and sort of. I'm so spending a long time just describing the windows, but just like that very swirly architectural decoration that you see around things. Very like a big neoclassical thing. And parked outside, the only sort of incongruous note on this scene of like absolute wealth, is a motorcycle with a sidecar, suspiciously large motorcycle with a sidecar, parked outside of this mansion. The night is still, the night is quiet, until suddenly an alarm breaks that silence, shatters it into a million pieces. It is high, discordant, wailing out into the night. And because you four have accidentally set off whatever a fancy alarm system was in this place, and it has and and now you need to exit. So I would like you each to introduce your characters by telling me how they get out of this place.
Now, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Oh
You
yes.
see, I've
And
enjoyed riding cycles since I was a cub, taking them for a spin while folks was out hiking the nearby national park trails out Colorado way. I became involved with the criminal underbelly when I stole the ride of a California kingpin who, so impressed with my skills, hired me to be his personal driver. I owe major debt to Big Jim Croakey, who was a mobster frog, a frogster, if you will, and basically drove him around on business. But one day I decided to take my axe solo and see the sights, travel the world, feel the wind in my fur. Ain't nothing in the world gonna hold back old Haas, that's for damn sure. So I am hopping on my ride and yelling back to my friends, "Get the hell out of there! We gotta scram!"
I think that you just hear coming out of it, "Honk! Honk! Honk!" and then just running out, wings flapping, is Swan John Silver. Just like, "I'm coming! Don't worry!" They leap off and like glide and like land with a thud in the sidecar.
Make space for the others, they're coming! I've only got the one sidecar.
And now
Hey,
I'm in
Darren.
it.
Yes?
Darren, I have a quick question for you.
Uh-huh.
So you mentioned, doing stuff since you were a cub, and it got me thinking.
Yeah.
Was Haas ever a Cub Scout?
Well, you see, his cousin was a lot more into the whole national park scene. You might be familiar with him. His name's Smokey.
Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Smokey did all the scouting stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
I
I
got
was
you.
kind of like the black bear of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Grizzly bear of the family.
I was trying to make a play on black sheep, but
Bear.
unfortunately, we don't have a Honey Heist alike where we have sheep criminals.
Yet.
I'm adding that to my list.
A new idea in the works.
we all know about Shaun the Sheep, right?
Oh yes. Yeah, no. I mean, grew up in like a Colorado national park, but like not really a Cub Scout for
Okay.
for all intents and purposes.
Thank you for answering my question. Sorry to break the fiction there.
No, you're very welcome.
So how is Guff getting the hell out of this house?
It's a great question. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, so Guff is again a thick-billed raven, and I think they're. You know what? Let me Google real quick to make sure I'm right with my animal facts. I think they're the largest. Yes, the largest bird in the Corvid family. So they can be 64 centimeters or 25 inches in length. So like they're big buddies. And so Guff is big, but I think Guff is really good at like compressing themselves and being as small as possible. And their job, I mean, kind of their career, whatever, is a pickpocket. And also they know things because they're a raven. And I think we see Guff just I think we see Guff in like a room in this big mansion, and I think we see like the head guard coming into the room to like investigate and make sure that like no one's there, whatever. And I think this guard has like a pack on, and that pack like has let me think. I think the pack has like a bunch of like whatever, like weapons, whatever stuff in it. And I think Guff just kind of like plops in to the pack while the guard isn't looking. So the guard just feels this weight like drop on their back. But for whatever reason, I don't think the guard. I think the guard is like too distracted or too concerned with breach of protocol to really pay attention to that. And I think what we see is the head guard briskly walking out of the mansion, and then Guff proceeds to fly on out and onto Haas's shoulder.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
And Mary Lou, how do you escape?
Rayla's still new to this, so she's just gonna. I'm just gonna like follow everyone else's lead and just mostly the Ravens' lead. I think happy to not be the center of attention, and just wait, for the same guard except like behind a vase. And then I don't think I'm gonna be able to catch up to motorcycles, so I'm just gonna go underground literally and meet you all there.
Sweet.
Like at a halfway point, yeah.
Wow. So I would like. So hold on. So this guard on 2 separate occasions has acted as the unwitting vehicle
Yes.
of exit. Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Quick question. I don't remember if we went over it before. Sean, do we have pronouns for Mary Lou?
Details. No. Oh, pronouns. She, her.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. In which case, so this guard's name is Joshua Reinode, and he has him, and he has just done the full like guard in a video game thing where he's like, just it's like, must have been nothing, and then walks
Must have been the wind.
must have been the wind. Walks back inside the house, thinks he hears something from outside the house again, leaves.
It must have been a pretty strong wind to set off that alarm system.
For sure.
It's like,
Storm of the century.
It's such a still night. Was that a motorcycle? Was that a honk? Okay. You all managed to escape this place, but I will say you have managed to escape this place with the piece of information which you went there to grab, which was the time and location of the the time and location of an auction that contains a suite of prizes, each of which has a deep personal relevance to each of you. For Haas, there is one of the lots is ultra dense mega honey from especially posh bees. There's a priceless painting, which I think Adam, I'm about to ask you for some details about what that painting is of.
I don't think Swan John knows what it
Okay.
looks like. I think they just know that I think they just know that it's called heck, I gotta think of a painting name that is like vague and intriguing. I think that the painting is just called A Day in the Life.
Okay.
And all Swan John knows is that it's priceless and some wealthy aristocrat has it. And so because of that, Swan John wants it.
Amazing. Okay, and for Mary Lou, there is the deed. There is a deed to a house that comes with it a a prepaid retainer for a law firm to both secure your owner to back up your ownership of said house and enact and just to be sort of on retainer on your personal retainer for I think the following year after you take hold of this house. Um, uh, Watchers may be asking, hold on, you didn't ask Sean to roll, and that is because Sean did it ahead of time. Sean did their homework, and honestly, an apple for teacher.
Everyone say thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
And I would like to ask Sean, why is this house so valuable to Mary Lou?
It's not even like it's probably not even an incredibly nice house. It's just the house that I was gonna save up to buy for my mom. And
Oh,
now that she's gone, I just gotta have this house. It's ours, I've invested too much.
oh wow! What happened? How did your mum pass?
Um, she just got old. She just got old. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just sort of imagining you. I mean, yeah, it's like you're together, your dream house. That
Mhm.
kind of like, oh, uh, oh man.
I'll get the rest of the family in there. That's what matters.
Oh, um,
Aw.
that's so sweet. Uh, okay. And and this is also now here we go. Bottle cap. How do I fit bottle cap in here? This there is no bottle cap up for auction.
What?
Oh no.
There's no bottle cap up for auction, but that is because. But Guff, you don't need to worry about that because your target is not the auction itself, but the organizer of this auction, a, sh- a person as greedy and wicked as they are ruthless and corrupt, a truly eccentric billionaire, Shambo Bliss.
Oh my god.
Oh my good
I'm
day.
gonna tap that up. I'm gonna type that up in the Roll20.
God, what a name!
That's
Oh.
so
I'll go with he
good.
they pronouns.
That's great. That's good.
And Shambo Bliss is one of their most eccentric traits is that they have a lucky bottle cap that they have had ever since they were a boy. It was the first bottle cap ever minted for their father's for their father's soft drink company,
Yeah.
Bliss, which is just called Bliss. It's called Bliss Soda. Which I am now saying in this universe is it has the same prominence to Coke. So it's a Coca-Cola. There is no Coca-Cola in this world. They were outcompeted and bought up by Bliss Soda.
Yeah, I mean, I
Wow,
feel like
this is a truly fictional world.
Was it okay? Was it Coke that had that started off as like medicinal?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think in the early days of Coke in this world, they were too busy, marketing it as medicine. But Bliss already got the ball rolling with it being a soft drink. So I think they got ahead of the competition there and just were able to outpace them.
For sure. I mean, it was called Coca-Cola for a reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm really liking this because there does actually appear to be a real company called Bliss Soda.
No way.
I'm finding this because apart from the fact that the only thing I'm finding about them is that they have a Facebook page, and I can't. But that's like their only.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that too.
Good.
There's also a thing called this is great. There's a thing called Neurobliss.
Yeah, I was looking at the exact same thing.
Neurobliss are delicious, lightly carbonated beverages. Lightly carbonated beverage. Well, that sounds like it's from a cyberpunk dystopia, frankly.
Oh, I mean, of course. As soon as you said that the soda is in fact called Bliss, I was like, this is something straight out of like cyberpunk or something like that.
Anyway, Shambo Bliss is the heir to the Bliss soda fortune. And one of the things that they have been known, and one of the things that they are known for in their many interviews, and they're constantly photographed doing this, is that they flip their bottle cap like it's a coin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and that's their constant thing. They're just constantly like flipping and catching that coin, that bottle cap like it's a coin. And oh boy, is that bottle cap shiny!
Oh, this bottle cap is pristine.
It's pristine. Oh, of course, Shambo Bliss also a germaphobe, like 100%.
I was gonna say, probably with how much Shambo's been handling that bottle cap, it probably has no more decals left on it.
I think we could solve this problem by Shambo wearing gloves all the time. Maybe.
Oh.
Yes, I love this. Okay, so this is the situation that these are your goals, and as you all sort of congregate back to your and I think and where you have discovered, and just to say what the information you have discovered is that this auction is taking place within let's get this thing up. Okay. So on your map of this city, which is called Redrecht, I think you can see up near the top left. This area is sort of like a protected nature reserve. Near to like a sort of a garden city kind of area, with like a lot of green space, sort of parks.
Reminds me of home.
And it's actually in this area, in an ex fishing village, that the auction will be taking place. Within within the Adam, do you have a good museum name?
What name?
Good museum name.
I'm sorry, I am having audio processing issues because #ADHD. Say that one more time, please.
No worries at all. A good museum name.
A museum name?
Museum.
Museum.
Museum name, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think that it's... what is the name of the place that we're in? The map again?
Redirect.
Yeah. I will type that out.
Yeah, because I want to incorporate that into the name. I think that it's... I think it's the Roderick Orion Museum of National Artifacts. Artifacts of Redirect. Hang on. So, and people will often just abbreviate it to the Romnar Museum.
Yes, good. Thanks.
Romnar.
Romnar.
Oh yeah, the
y'all been?
Romnar.
Have you guys been to the Romnar recently?
Yeah.
Oh goodness, yeah, perfect, absolutely perfect. So yes, so this is the Romnar, and you have discovered that this is the location of this is the location, and this auction, this secret auction, I should say, because it's the provenance of many of the items being sold here is very dubious and entirely unregulated. Is happening tomorrow night. So all of you are meeting up in your headquarters, and I leave it to you to decide what your headquarters is like, to discuss tomorrow night's heist. What do you all? And I throw it over to you. How would you like to heist?
Insert GIF from over the garden wall. I want to steal.
Well, there has to be like a conspiracy board, right? Like, there's got to be like a big old map of Redirect with like a bunch of red yarn and like thumbtacks.
Oh yeah.
Pictures of Shambo Bliss in just like completely unrelated to like what we're actually like trying to steal.
There's
just
like a couple
pictures
of
Shambo Bliss all over the map just so that it looks proper, like a heist.
There's yeah. I think that there's there is a drawing of a picture portrait, but there's a big question mark where the picture would be.
I think we have a little projector.
Yes.
That projects it basically that essentially projects a GIF, just a looping image of Shambo Bliss flipping the bottle cap.
Where is our headquarters? Are we like near? Are we nearby at all? Like, in terms of like where we're heisting? Where do we want our headquarters to be? What do we want our headquarters to be? What do animal criminals use for a headquarters?
Okay, so I think it was pitched that we're or suggested that we're by this nature reserve, right?
That is where the auction's being held. Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
The museum is near the nature reserve.
Okay,
or
gotcha.
on the nature reserve.
No, I think we have the nature reserve and then the Garden City district, and the Garden City district is where the museum is. I think.
Gotcha.
I think it would be really cool if there's like an abandoned greenhouse.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we're just surrounded by like overgrown plants and trees and stuff like that.
Sure.
And
Yeah, and maybe during the day, like tourists come by and like check it out, and like because there's like there are animals there. Ooh, neat! They're cool, but mostly they come for the cool plants. And then but we congregate at night when
There's
no one
like
else
a
is
there's
there.
like a popular I don't know, like some sort of hipster cafe nearby that like people go and sit at, and then they like go and check out the abandoned greenhouse and some of the other like areas nearby because it's
Yeah,
green city blocks and stuff like that. And they're like,
they
oh, that's
sell
weird. There are a bunch of there are a bunch of animals here.
they sell the
Squint's eyes.
hipster
Is that a
place.
bear?
Is that a motorcycle? The hipster place sells really fancy tea, like juice cleanses,
Uh-huh.
and my other kombucha.
Have they been compromised? Do they sell Bliss soda?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, what?
Everywhere sells Bliss soda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Thank
pretty
you,
sure
thank
there's
you, Adam,
like a
for
half drink Bliss
clarifying.
soda. There's like a half drink Bliss soda somewhere on the table. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's probably just like a broken bliss vending machine in this greenhouse.
yeah, that's it. And like it's still stocked for some reason and cooling. It just doesn't take money. You just have to bang it in one spot in particular, and a drink falls out.
Learned this trick in an Arizona dive bar once. Smacks it with smacks the side of it with his paw. Bunch of Bliss sodas roll out. That's the stuff. All right.
Wow, you're a bear drinking. I don't think bears should drink soda.
Oh, see, Haas's only interest in Bliss soda is to set them up like bowling pins. The bottles are
Oh,
surprisingly sturdy.
Yeah, it's like super high quality, like thick bottles.
It's probably
Yeah.
something that they like probably co-opted like eco-friendly speech for, where it's like now no longer plastic. Well, all Bliss soda is served in glass bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Saving the environment one Bliss at a time.
oh.
So yeah, I think Haas like pulls down I guess like the projector screen and there's just the looping gif of Shambo Bliss. Now I might just be the driver, but it looks like we got our stuff cut out for us here. Well, what's the plan here, gang? Y'all are more experienced with the sticky paws sorts of situations. What are we thinking? What's our point of entry? What are we going for first? You know,
Pull up the layout of the museum.
all right. I think it's somewhere in here. Just big paws, trying to like rifle through the papers that we've like probably stolen from some sort of planning office somewhere. Like spreads them out, trying not to like tear the paper.
So, I guess I'm gonna ask you, Adam, where I'm like, do we know where in the museum all of the things are?
I think you would know. You would be able to, if you're so if you're flicking through papers, um, I think you'll be able to get a floor plan of the museum fairly easily. Um, uh, I'm going to say that you would know that the museum, like most museums, has fairly extensive underground storage where they sort of keep the collection as a whole, and they kind of recycle pieces in and out in order to bring things there. And I think it would probably, well, I would say you would guess that is where the thing that is where you would guess the altars are. But I'm going to say, hey, tell you what, would you like to roll?
I would love to roll. I love rolling dice.
Hell
That
yeah.
is why we're here.
That is why we're here. So I'm assuming this
Mostly
is.
for charity, but also dice.
I'm going to just go ahead and assume this is spy and not goose.
Yes. Uh,
All
Do we
right, so I
want
have 3. What?
to? Sorry, very quickly. Do we want to do a thing where, like, for every failed roll, we encourage people to donate or something?
I really like that idea.
I think that we should encourage. I have already donated a significant chunk of money, and I don't think I can donate
Oh
more.
no, not you.
But I am
Sorry.
encouraging everyone else to donate.
Mhm.
Yeah, let me go ahead and roll. And yeah, if we fail rolls, people should donate. People should donate even if we succeed rolls, but especially if we fail rolls.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me see here. So let me see. I'm seeing if my types have honk, and then my role is a thief. Does my role as a thief give me 2d6?
yeah. You're used to breaking into fancy places. Yeah, take 2d6.
Yeah. All right, cool. Where's my? There it is. I went to the stream and I'm like, why can't I click on this? It's because it's the stream. The roll 20. All right. Take the best. I have to get below my target score of 3, correct? Or is it above my target score of 3?
So you have 2 stats. Each starts with 3 points. Goose. Used to honk, flap, swim, and anything else goose related. Spy, used for anything, literally anything not goose related. Roll a d6. If it's
If
equal
it's
to or
over,
under,
you
they'll-
fail. If it's equal to or under, you succeed. Okay, so I
Yes.
rolled a 1, so I succeed.
Excellent. Okay, so I think Swan John expertly cases this giant, knows exactly what he is looking for, and identifies, and so I think we'll go with what I originally said and sort of say, oh yeah, that'll be in the basement. The items will be will be stored in the basement. It is the most secure location in this museum.
So yeah, I think then that Swandarn just goes, I don't think that they're going to be presenting any of our items at the museum, so we just have to find our way into here, and like flails away at the basement area. Just if we can get our way into the basement, I'm confident we can find everything that we need. The question is, how do we get to the basement? I want to hear what everyone else has to say.
That is quite the conundrum.
I think Guff is fidgeting with the pearl necklace. The pearl necklace they always have on. And I think they don't talk a lot. I think they're silently contemplating.
Well, the whole reason we're breaking into this place is because most of these items are up for auction. Presumably, most of the security for this museum, they're going to be more focused on the large gathering of people there to buy our goods, so to speak. I say our because we're criminals. We're going to steal it, presumably. I'm assuming that security might be a little bit light around the back end of the museum. If we come around from behind, we might have an easier time of breaking in and less of a chance of drawing any significant attention to, well, the everything about us. Plus, it'll be a nice place to park my bike. I think Bonnie and Clyde need a rest.
How dare you only now reveal your bike is called Bonnie? And is Clyde the sidecar or is Bonnie the sidecar?
Clyde is the sidecar, yeah.
Yeah.
Can there be like a security guard and then a security dog?
Well-
And yes.
We've already
Well, see-
canonically said that one of the obstacles are ghost sniffing cats, so there are security cats.
Yeah, there are no-
This is
two,
true.
yeah, two of us got cats, so
Oh yeah, you're right. We got a whole cat situation. Okay.
We got a whole cat situation.
Can cats
did
be
you-
reasoned with?
Oh,
No, have you met a cat?
Swan John, I grew up in a national park in the middle of Colorado. I don't think I've interacted with any normal-sized house cat.
Well,
cats
let me
are
let you in on a little. Let me let you in on a little bit of a secret. And I think that Swan John leans in close and then really loudly honks and goes,
Ah!
"They're the devil!"
Well then, certainly an aggressive approach, but I can respect it.
I think Guff just kind of blurts out, "Fishing village. Cats like fish."
I mean, who doesn't? I mean, we're talking about sweet, delicious, cold fish. Oh, sorry, I almost lost myself for a second there. Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. Grab some fish. A lot of fish. Because we don't know how many cats there might be. We're gonna need to make sure we have a lot of fish to buy off these cats, of course. No
Are
other
we gonna
reasons.
fish? Are we gonna fish, or are we gonna do like a pre-heist on fish? I don't know how to fish.
You've never fished before, Mary Lou?
Not well.
Oh well, it's simple, really. I can show you how. I've done plenty of fishing in my life.
I think gosh. I think Guff is like, we could go to the fish market.
Mhm.
We could
I think there's a
each-
Lidl down the road.
There's a what down the road?
Lidl. It's
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Lidl. I don't remember how it's pronounced.
I don't know either. Yeah, Guff is like, we could go to the fish market. We could, before the heist, before the auction, we could slowly but surely pick off fish that are being sold, and by the time the heist hits, we would have a impressive collection.
Sure would. A very impressive collection.
I like fish,
At
so
this
I'm down
point,
with
like
that
Haas
plan.
is like tapping his paw on the floor.
Okay, so we have, we have where the artifacts are located. You're going to go, your method of approach is that you're going to go around the back. You're going to get fish to pay off the cats. I think also you all have information about all of the obstacles. So this planning could also be about sort of getting around the rest of the obstacles. Which,
okay.
just to remind you all, are armed guards, a pressure-sensitive alarm system, and poison cats. I think the thing about the alarm system is this is like Indiana Jones alarm system for the artifacts.
Mm.
So everything is on. So all of the artifacts are on like pressure plates, and if they are removed, an alarm will go off. I think the poison gas is. It's a bit hard. I think it's a bit much if that gas is fully lethal. So we're gonna go with. So
They take
God,
security
uh,
very seriously at Ramna.
It's like if anyone ever accidentally pressed that button.
It's a very no holds barred kind of defense mechanism.
But I think we can say that there's like knockout gas, and that is genuinely, it is like the action of last resort is that button gets pressed and like a knockout gas just floods
Right. Yeah.
floods the museum. And it's like a way of and what it is, it's a way of immobilizing thieves that does no damage to the artwork. Is kind of the
Right.
Makes sense.
I would also like to point out, because I forgot, I skipped one of our locations. So a thing about this museum is that it is a museum, but part of the I would say Chambo
eccentricity?
is one of the trustees, and one of the policies he introduced for the museum, one of the eccentric policies he introduced for the museum, was that he said, how about we add another story onto this museum and just put apartments there, and
No.
we rent those apartments out to a bunch of my fellow billionaires.
Oh God, no.
Oh no!
So that we get 24-hour access to the great art. You can pay to rent. You can pay. You don't rent. This is a homeowners association. It's a condo.
You made it worse.
How did it get worse?
So there is a billionaires homeowners association that lives above this museum.
If I may, before we like actually embark on this, I seem to recall mentioning in chat before. I don't think we went over Mary Lou's crime details.
I mean, they're fully getting in there, but we can go over it. Sure, yeah. My villain descriptor was greedy and wicked. My prize was that deed to the house. Location
Yes.
descriptor. Oh, sorry, greedy and wicked. Sorry, my location descriptor was a creepy condo, which is where this is coming from. And obstacle, poison gas, complication, cats.
A rival team of cats.
Yeah, rival team of cats.
Wonderful.
So we'll talk about complications maybe when it comes to it, because
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I have a fun. We're gonna be we'll see what happens with complications.
It's a surprise tool that will help us later.
Exactly.
Cool. So anyway, so that's just me jumping in and summarizing where we are so far. What else? What other aspects of the plan do we want to do?
We need an escape. Hang on, let me put the character words. We need an escape plan too. Once we have all the goods.
Hawks just like points at Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know what other kind of escape plan there is that don't involve no cycles.
Yes, but
we have to get out of the museum though.
We have to get out. Yeah.
Right. Getting out of the museum. You see, I kind of just assumed that when we were inside, we wouldn't really have to worry about getting back outside because we've already taken care of the security measures and whatnot. Y'all are more experienced with the breaking and entering parts of this. I'm just the driver. But yeah, I guess we do need an escape plan. Are there any, like, tunnels?
I was about to suggest that exact same thing.
I mean, all the stuff is in tunnels, so there's probably more.
I was gonna
A bunch
say,
of
if most of the
billionaires live here.
stuff's
There's
in the
probably
basement, is
escape
there like,
routes.
yeah,
There's
is
like
there like,
a bookcase to pull or something down there.
mm-hmm,
I don't know.
probably something like that. Maybe like sewer access, whatnot. Maybe,
Billionaires like those. They like those bookcases that reveal hidden rooms, and that could
oh
lead to tunnels.
yeah, I saw that on like a motel TV special once. And his eccentric fellas got like a bookcase, and you're supposed to look for the book that clearly like there's a bunch of dust on the bookshelf, and you look for the one book that's been like clearly touched the most, and then you pull it out, and whole bookcase slides over. It's very dramatic.
Oh yeah, as featured on famous real detective Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Okay,
Definitely
now
not
it's
a
official
dog.
that Haas definitely thinks that Scooby-Doo is real. Is out there solving crimes somewhere.
Oh yeah, Scooby Doo is our collective enemy. Scooby Doo shouldn't be solving crimes. Scooby Doo should be committing them with us.
We've tried to get Scooby in on the heist before.
Seems like you used to be childhood friends with Scooby. Ended up on the
just
opposite sides of the law.
Honestly, ASAP. All Scooby
Oh, excellent. Love it.
Right.
Then I guess I suppose I can park the cycle near like a manhole cover, whatever those things that like lead into sewers or whatnot is. And if all else fails, we could try to find some sort of sewer access from the basement out to the road, get out of the sewer, get onto my cycle, and get the hell out of Dodge.
People expect birds to fly up. So I think that if I fly down, they won't suspect anything.
Oh, that's smart.
I mean, I should go up. I think I should go up.
We all go in different directions.
Smash a 40 on the ground. Scatter!
I will stand there and do what my cousin used to do for tips, and just kind of like wave at people. Maybe people won't notice I'm there.
So, just as a note, all of you have a human believability score.
Yeah.
Oh right.
A key feature of this universe is that this universe is full of talking animals, but humans are in general unaware of this fact, because taking inspiration from Terry Pratchett, in this world, human beings operate with a sort of mental filter that prevents them from seeing anything that would unduly upset them. And one of those things would be a talking animal acting and doing people things. So so long as you all are wearing clothing, humans are going to want to believe that you are also that you are just normal, that you are just people. And you each have a score to represent basically how much how weird you can look, how weird you can act before a human being is like forced to acknowledge that this giant person that they are talking to is in fact a bear. The way that this works is that trying to find this one Sneak Honk, but I'll go to the Discord. Basically, the way that this works is that at any points, if you are trying to not look like a human, okay, here we go. Sorry, okay. If you are seen by humans while wearing this outfit, the Goose Wrangler rolls 4d6. If the outcome is equal to or lower than your human human believability score, you pass as a human. So you can always pass as humans. I just want to throw that out there. I think that doesn't sort of discount from the sewer plan, but I do want to say you are not immediately going to be outed as animals.
Okay. So I think in that case, Guff is going to look at Mary Lou very closely and be like, I don't think you have to go up, but I do think you have to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Are we getting into a fashion montage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful.
Guff nods very seriously.
You
Yeah.
got to look the part.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. Mary Lou, I know you're new to this, but the one thing you have to understand about being a crime animal is that you got to look the part. It's all about the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a crime outfit, like a go-to crime outfit?
I've got a go-to human outfit.
That works. That works as long
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
folks don't think you're a possum.
Yeah. I guess I could just wear the like extra crime stuff under in case I need to for sewer time.
Oh yeah, no, I was just in reference to human clothes. You see, Haas is wearing like a biker jacket and like a cowboy hat and like aviator sunglasses, which look very funny on a bear's face. All right.
Okay, so
Yes.
I want to nail down. So your means of getting in and out of this place are you going in? Are you just going to try and walk in and out of the front door, or are you going to go in through the sewer and out through the sewer, or are you going in the front door, or are you coming out by the sewer? What's the plan here?
I think the plan, as I understand it, and anyone feel free to correct me if I have things wrong here, we're still planning on going in through the back.
Mhm.
We're buying off the cats with fish we've taken from the local market. And then our main form of escape plan is, depending on the scenario, either finding a way to get out normally, either by the way we came in or by sneaking out through the auction house, or by finding a point of sewer entry and escaping that way. Either way, Haas's ride will be parked in the back.
Okay. All right. I think that to bring planning to an end. I mean, this is a game with flashbacks, so if you guys want to um, think back on anything and be like, oh, I actually wanted to come up with this plan beforehand. Very easy to do that. No reason we can't. I would suggest we take a break here, and then when we come back, we jump to we jump straight into the heist. How do people feel about this?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that works.
Sounds good to me.
I will notify
Cool.
I'll notify our fantastic stream host, Cindy. And we're back. So, where we left off just as our plucky band of crime animals is about to conduct their heist. Before we start off, I did realize I forgot to do this at the top. I would like to shout out Kelsoy on Reddit, who is the illustrator of this beautiful map that you see before you. That is Kalsoy. And thank you very much for allowing us to sort of take their work and post it up on stream for everyone to see. It's just a truly magnificent piece of work. All right, crime animals, go. What would you like to do?
We gotta go to the market.
Crimes.
Yeah, we gotta steal some fish first.
Just fish.
Oh yeah, we need to stock up on fish. Where is the fish market in relation to the
We all
Ramnar?
need some snacks from the market.
I'm gonna say it's right next by, because so this is like a fishing village. I think this used to be, I think, a bustling fishing village. The wetlands have since been turned into a nature reserve. But I'm gonna say there's like, I don't know if this is a real thing, but I'm just gonna wing it. Sustainable fishing. Like, you want to make sure the fish, like, you're trying to like make sure that the fish populations don't get out of whack. Like, they're trying to like maintain like ecological balance in this sort of like in these wetlands, and that fish is then like sold and added onto. So that is the fishing village part of it, but then there's also just like a traditional fish market that operates there, and like it has more sort of standard fare. Standard. It's a more standard fish market, taking things in from the sea there. So nearby, effectively, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
That makes
yeah, I
sense.
think we just hop in the sidecar. A lot of us are like, I think size wise, like you have Haas and Swanjon are like decent sized. Well, Haas is big. Swanjon's like person sized. I feel like Mary Lou and Emily, what's your character's name again? I'm sorry.
Guff.
Guff is both really small, so I feel like the three of them can just cram in the sidecar together.
Hang on.
Yeah, like Guff is big for a raven.
How big are swans?
Swans have a huge wingspan.
I'm just now realizing I've never seen a swan in person, and now I'm terrified.
Yeah, swans are big.
No, they're large.
Yeah, so swans, let's see. Can reach a length over 1.5 meters, weigh over 15 kilograms. Their wingspans can be over 10 feet.
Yeah, they're big.
Also, though, it is a myth. Swans are actually pretty docile unless it's during mating season. Also, their wings cannot break your arms, contrary to popular belief. If a swan is a flying bird, it's a popular belief. People think, oh yeah, swans are gonna hit you with their wings and break their arms. It's not. It's really just a tale to keep kids away from their snapping beaks, which swans will bite you if they have to, and that'll hurt. You should still be terrified of swans. But no, if a swan hits you with their wings, swans have hollow bones. They're gonna break their wing bones, so they won't hit you with their bones.
Yeah, by contrast, the thick-billed raven averages 64 centimeters or 25 inches in length, and weighs approximately 2.5 pounds, or between 2.5 and 3 pounds. So pretty big for a raven. It's not like a tiny bird, but definitely not on the scale of a swan.
Yeah, if the average shoulder height for an American grizzly bear on all fours is 3.3 feet, which I do not know the conversion in meters, but can be as tall as 8 feet standing on two legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We got some good sizes going on here.
Very long. long bear.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense if we were talking about just all like getting into to Bonnie and Clyde. I think that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Abnormally large motorcycle chugging through the streets of Redrecht.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you
Born to
arrive
Be
at the
Wild
fish.
is playing on the radio.
So I think you arrive at the fish. You arrive at this fish market. And it's in full swing. It's got that weird smell of like very fresh fish, where it's it's definitely pungent, but it's very clean. There's like a I can't it's like slightly, it's like a weirdly almost perfume kind of smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's divine.
So that is, yes. So that is in the air. All of you can set about. So would all of you like to set about grabbing some fish?
Yeah.
Who is on
Yeah.
fish, Steven, Juicy?
Oh yeah, I'm on that for sure.
Are we all taking different varieties of fish? I don't know what kind of options Redirect has here, because I don't know exactly where in the world we are.
I'm a pickpocket. I'm plucking fish directly. So like fishermen are carrying fish, and I'm plucking fish off of that. That's what I'm doing.
Sneak level 100, taking the
Mhm.
weapon off of a Skyrim guard.
Exactly.
And I'll probably distract for someone who is less sneaky.
Mary Lou causes a scene while we all just take handfuls of fish.
Perfect. All right. So okay, Emily. So Guff should roll to pickpocket. So roll with that.
Am I rolling with curious or is this curious or mischievous here?
Oh, this is mischievous.
Okay, great. I'm gonna fail. It's gonna be so fun. Okay, awesome. Do I get any like bonuses to anything? Let me double check. Do something, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, roll an additional d6 for each of your special abilities, specialty or background, or any of them, if any of them apply. So I'm a pickpocket. That's my job. So I think I get an extra d6. I have 2d6. I think that's it. 2d6 makes sense to me. Let's go.
And what's your number?
My number is 4.
Okay.
So I'm much more curious than I am mischievous. All right. Let's go. Let's get some black and pink donations. Oh shit. Well, I succeeded, so I think. Hang on.
No, you want your roll to be higher than your number, right?
Oh, right. I totally failed. Excellent.
Yes.
Because you're in Lasers and Feelings, yeah.
Yes, I'm in Lasers and Feelings, and I failed, and it's going to be great. And you should donate to Black and Pink if you can, or spread the word.
We're going to resolve all of these all at once. So we have a failure. We have a failure from Guff. The fishermen are alert today for anyone stealing their fish. Sean, Mary Lou was making a distraction. What was Mary Lou doing?
I think she is talking to like several of the vendors at once, just trying to get like multiple opinions on what the like best fish to get is. She hasn't like it's her first time going out to the market to buy for everybody, and so now she wants to just know like who's got the best one and trying to get them to like argue amongst each other.
Okay, cool. That sounds to me like you are rolling. Oh, well, no. Okay. That's rolling raccoon because you are trying to trick people.
Trick people, yep. Do I get face bonus here?
You absolutely do. Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, 2d6. Get lower than a 3.
Does tie go to the raccoon?
I think tie goes to if it's equal to or under the relevant stat. So yes, you succeed.
Done it.
All right. Whoever with all of these bickering fishermen, I think whoever wants to can get an extra d6 to their roll. Who wants to use that? So either Swan John or Hoss can get an extra d6 to their roll.
I
Swan
think
John
Hoss, you should.
is the master thief, and I'm not entirely confident that Hoss can't be distracted by fish while trying to steal them. So I think it makes more sense for Adam to get that extra d6.
Okay.
Okay, so is that 3d6?
It would
Well-
be, yes, because I have the thief modifier.
All right, Swan John, what are you doing?
Swanton was going to actually just. So, one thing I actually looked up, and I was a little
Mhm.
shocked by swans don't actually eat fish, they're herbivores.
Huh.
They'll accidentally eat fish if they're like caught up in plant matter and stuff like that, like tiny fish, but they don't do it intentionally. So I think that I am looking for like what would it be called? I just had this tab open. Where'd it go? Oh. Swansea. Because I think I'm like going to a stand. Like if we're at a fish market, like it's not all gonna be fish. I think that someone has like sea grown vegetables. Like you know what? It's like there we go.
Is it like a bunch of like seaweed and stuff, like seaweed
Like
products?
seaweed. I don't know if swans can eat seaweed, but yeah, it's basically like seaweed. And so I think goes and just gets like, you know what, fuck it. We're in our fictional world. I think that there is a seaweed stall, and I think they sell like roasted dried seaweed that's seasoned.
Okay,
And I think
update.
that
I googled, and swans will eat almost any type of vegetation they can find, including algae.
seaweed it is.
Blah blah blah.
So yes,
Cool.
just munching on, just goes and just buys some seaweed.
It doesn't do anything related to the heist. Just wants to have lunch.
It's only the thing is that this is, I think, this is not an offense to Emily's character, but I think this is what differentiates the two characters. I'm not just gonna steal all the time. I have to be on a job. I want to make it count. I just don't want to steal whenever. Otherwise, what's the point?
Okay, all right. Okay then. Roll. First of all, roll 4d6 on your human believability score.
Okay, sure, no problem. I really should have just made macros for multiples of d6. I'll do that after this. For the
Okay.
6, 12. That's 17. Oh no, that's higher than my score.
It's higher than your score. You go up to you go up to try and buy roasted roasted seaweed. And the proprietor takes one look at you, and this proprietor lady takes one look at you and goes, because she unfortunately has not heard the truth that swans can't break people's arms, and she is like, "Oh my god, it's a swan!" and and like immediately like starts to try and shoo you away.
I just look really like I'm like a little peeved, and so I just like get right up in their face, just go, Honk! And then walk away.
Okay. Darren.
Haas is
What
seeing like
possibly?
all of this unfold before him, and like his internal monologue is like, "Come on, Haas, keep it together. It's just fish. It's just fish. You're stealing some fish for the cats. Stay focused. Come on, you got this." And like, while like everyone is basically distracted by one thing or the other, is going to attempt to steal probably some salmon because that's how Haas operates. Because that is a grizzly bear's favorite snack. Haas is nothing if not motivated by food. Just like myself. And yeah, I'm gonna try and steal some salmon.
Okay, you can have 2d6 because you can have the dice that that Swan John was not able to use, having
We
failed.
got a refund on those dice.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Sounds good. Okay, well, I mean that's solid. I'm sitting at 3 in both bear and criminal right now. So
Sweet. All right. I'm going to say that was probably. Well, actually, do you want that success to be in bear or in criminal?
see, that's the thing because I am explicitly stealing the salmon, but it would be a very bear thing to steal some fish.
I think so. Okay, I have two things to say that might help sway you. First of all, how are you going about stealing the fish?
That's a
Second
good
of
point.
all, there is a video, and I'm gonna be hard pressed to find this, so I'm not gonna look for it now. But there's a video of, I think it was, I can't remember the country it's in, but there is like a salmon farm, and they were collecting salmon in a bin, and this bear just walks up, like sticks its face into the collections bin, pulls out a salmon, and then just fucks off with it.
I think that would be more
So
bear, but I think Haas is probably trying to keep it together and go more criminal about this by just grabbing as many salmon as possible and like stuffing them into his like biker jacket.
Cool.
So I shift my my criminal up down by 1, or how does that
So
work again?
when you
Okay,
when it goes right, when the plan goes right, doesn't matter what you roll. When you succeed, you increase criminal. When you fail, you always decrease bear.
When you succeed, you increase criminal. So I'm sitting at 2 bear, 4 criminal.
yes.
Sounds about right.
And Mary Lou should now be at 4 domesticated, 2 raccoon.
Yep.
Swan John, you should be at 2 spy, 4 goose.
No, I shouldn't. I succeeded on a roll earlier.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, so you did. Okay, so you're back down to 3-3 then. And Corvid capers. Corvid capers is interesting. You don't shift around stats. But what you have instead is a thing called chaos, which is a mechanic that we have extrapolated to everyone else's. So whenever a roll is failed,
Yes.
whenever a roll is failed, I add a chaos point onto. You gain a chaos point, and every time, and on steps 2, 4, 6, and 8 of this chaos table, we are going to roll. We are going to roll a d6, and this is where complications are going to be coming from. So, Swan John, would you please?
Oh, sorry. This is in Corvid Capers as well, and it's a D8. Does that
Yes.
matter? Okay, cool.
So when basically this, I'm seat of my pants here, but I figure that the failure that causes the complication is, and the way we're going, so the effectively in this instance, because Swan John was the one that caused the complication, they should roll for on the but little do the ghosts know table.
Makes sense. Cool.
So Adam, could Adam roll me a d6?
Yes. Once again, that is not the roll 20. That is the stream. Adam, get it together. That is a 1.
Place is rigged to blow.
Oh no!
But you have a fish. What you have your fish, and you leave behind, and you exit the market, leaving behind everything has just gone. Like the argument is just escalating. People have started like throwing fish at each other. Like you look behind you and you see just someone pick up a salmon and just like full on club another person with it. Just like behind, like the sounds of a massive fisherman street fight break out as you four chaos as chaos erupts in your wake as you move on to your target. You have obtained your fish. What do you do now?
Haas stuffs like a bunch of like at least 4 salmon into like Clyde. Before like
Does Clyde have a refrigerator?
No.
Yep,
No.
valid.
For reference, Clyde is also the sidecar that Big Jim Croakey, notable frogster, would ride in around all the time. So just imagine a mobster frog just sitting all by himself in the sidecar. And Haas takes a smaller salmon that he stole for himself and starts munching on it as they like approach the
Okay. I think we say that we're going to do a quick. We're going to say this was an evening fish market, and the auction is just about to get. Actually, yeah. So here's the thing: what time do you want? Do you want to arrive as the auction is starting?
Yeah, because I think we want security to be distracted by the
by the auction.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so it is early evening. As your bike sort of putters into next to the giant, the grand neoclassical building of Romnar, and you can see various party guests roaming the building, roaming around, and yeah, walking up these steps, like the steps to a Roman temple, up past columns into this giant museum building. And you can also see the armed guards stationed stationed by the sides, carrying. They've got they clearly have they have weapons at their belts, like stun batons and non-lethal guns. What's like beanbag rifles, things like this. Unpleasant, but non-lethal. And checking people's entry car. What would you call those? Checking people's tickets as they go inside, checking the tickets of couples as they walk inside. But you of course are going around the back. Around the back, you can see a very different sort of hustle and bustle happening as the kitchens of this the kitchens of this museum are the yelling and screaming of incredibly stressed chefs and wait staff blare out into the night as they churn out tray after tray of delicious tiny canapes for their far too rich clientele. There are there are vans. There is there are all the accoutrements of people at work around the back, and you can sort of see the kitchen door is kind of swinging open and is like constantly in use as people move to and fro in and out of the building.
Okay.
You are, I would say, you are able to. I was debating, should there be a big wall around this place? But that doesn't seem right for a museum. So you can just sort of, but I would say that the back it's not like open onto a street. It's like onto a back alley kind of area. So you are not necessarily visible. I think is an important point. There are also, however, there are armed guards stationed here, but they are sort of perhaps more relaxed. I think having a smoke, just sort of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can we see any guard cats?
Yes. You can see perched. I think cats are just kind of making the. I think there are 2 cats with each guard, and there are other there. If you watch long enough, you would see one kind of prowling around, having made doing circuits of the building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Well,
I mean, I think an idea is just to start to leave it. I guess remind me. Do we have fish with us?
Yeah,
I've got the
that's
fish.
why we just want to go steal them.
Yeah, we better
Caps,
have fish.
Clyde. I don't know who else sitting in the sidecar, but they're very clearly there, like 4 very large salmon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess someone grab the fish. Come with me. We're gonna go do a bribe.
I love bribery. Nos picks up the fish.
I love salmon. I mean, robbery.
I mean,
Yeah.
bribery. I mean,
That would
salmon.
make more
I mean, salmon brab.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I would like a bribe.
For those of you playing bingo, that is a direct FATT reference. I would like a bribe. Yeah, so are we all just like rolling up squad deep with salmon in our hands?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I cannot understate like the imagery of this, of a grizzly bear, a possum, a swan, and a raven carrying 4 very large salmon towards the back door of a museum that is being guarded by 2 individuals that are flanked by cats.
This is what.
Wait, are the salmon being held by the 2 smaller members? Are they smaller salmons? Or are they just as big?
I think it's more
Um,
funny if they're just as big.
I think they're
Yeah.
just as big, and I have them like I'm like flapping my wings, and I have them in my claws.
Mary Lou doesn't understand why the bigger members don't just carry the fish, but is going along with it.
Haas wanted to make sure that the other members of the heist felt included.
Yeah.
He's very considerate that way.
I mean, speaking of
Okay.
like the ridiculousness of the situation, there's an additional amount of what are we wearing?
Oh.
Besides, we know your jacket, obviously, but
I mean, yeah.
I'm wearing.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I don't really have much else except for
That's fine.
what I already described, and then also like a casual shirt and like some very like dark blue jeans.
I have like, essentially, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Coveralls. I basically like. What if scraps of fabric were made into basically looking like janitorial coveralls, but for a raven?
Oh,
That's what I'm wearing.
Fantastic.
I have crucially on my person. I have a little fanny pack as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Beautiful. Everyone's gonna have a pouch.
Oh, I should also mention that because he thinks it makes him look more human, Haas has like an unlit like cigar just like hanging out of his mouth.
It's so small, though. It looks like it's a cigar, but it looks like a cigarette in his
Right. Like
Mhm,
he's a
mhm.
grizzly bear. Like his head's so big that like this stogie looks like a cigarette in comparison.
Swan John Silver is wearing wearing a vest very similar to like the Han Solo vest, but then also has just this really big brown floppy hat on.
Mhm. Is it like a sun hat or like a
Like I'm
Is
trying
it
to
like the
think.
one hat you can try and wear in Untitled Goose Game?
Hang on.
I think that's like a
Are
sun hat
y'all
kind of thing.
are y'all familiar with the character Cad Bane from Star Wars Clone Wars?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude
Extremely
has a
not.
big hat. It's like that hat.
Here, I'll grab a picture for reference, Emily.
Here, I found a picture that specifically captures that image that I want. So I'll post this in the Crimetime Medley channel, and then you can post it to the references.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah,
Beautiful.
nice.
Sweet.
So
Sweet.
anyway, that's
Yeah.
It's such a
That's
good
that.
hat. It's such a
Mhm.
good hat. Oh my goodness.
I already posted this for the rest of the crew, but Mary Lou is in a pinafore dress where there's like two big pockets on the waist. That there's a real example with a little cat popping out of it, but Mary Lou's obviously has a little possum popping out of it.
It's so adorable. I love it.
Mhm.
We are so ready for crime.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's walk up. Hey, boys.
Okay.
Any
Okay, are you
y'all
trying
got a
to?
light?
Okay, are you all trying to look human?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
I would assume so.
everyone roll 4d6.
Good.
All right, I set up a human macro just for this purpose.
Human.
Haas
Oh.
succeeds.
Wish I had a human macro.
Oh, right, we have to roll below our
Fuck.
HBS.
yeah,
I'm good to
lower
go.
better.
I'll
Okay.
lose.
Yes. Okay. I'm good.
All right. Mary Lou, you failed, right?
Yep.
Don't mind me. That's just my pet possum.
Wait,
yeah.
can that be the cover, please?
Well, we did just fail, so
We
maybe.
did.
Okay, yeah.
Oh no. You failed. You failed that was a you failed that's a possum.
Mhm.
But I'm taking that. Roll criminal.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'll roll. Yeah.
Ooh.
Good.
Oh no!
Y'all,
No possums allowed.
No possums allowed.
if you
No
haven't
possum.
listen, if you've been listening to this stream at all, and you're like, wow, Black and Pink seems like a great organization, and you're on the fence about donating, I feel like with 2 successive failures, this would be a great opportunity for you to donate to a great cause or spread the word.
Love it.
If you needed a sign, this was it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. The most effective way to spread information is by word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
word of money. Don't give them
word
your
of money.
money.
Yes.
Mine.
give Black and Pink your money, please.
It's
Make the world
Okay.
a better place.
The guards. The guards. One of the guards says, I'm very sorry, sir, but we cannot allow you to bring. We don't allow animals inside. You'll have to leave. You'll have to leave you'll have to leave your possum out here.
Are you sure? She gets real nervous when I'm not around.
I'm real sorry to have to insist on such a fine gentleman, but I must.
I understand. Are you sure there's nothing I can do to help the situation?
Are you like dangling the fish in front of this guard's face?
Not the fish, but like Haas like opens up like the breast of his biker jacket to reveal like another stogie inside. Are you sure we
Okay.
can't work something out here?
Just as a reminder, Darren, your stat did go down for
Yeah,
criminal.
like this is significantly worse because like
Yep.
I am back down to like 3 bear 3 crime. So like I'm just imagining like Haas's dumb face just being like, but what if I offered you a cigar? Humans like cigars, right?
I mean, yeah, roll criminal.
I really hope this is another failure. And it is.
Hey,
All right.
Darren, I have a really important question for you. What are your stats at right now?
Well, you see, now that I've failed again, I'm at 4 bear 2 criminal.
Okay.
Oh, good.
And Haas just kind of like dejectedly, yeah, I didn't think you'd go for that. All right, Mary Lou, I'm sorry. I tried. You know how these things are.
And the guard says, yeah. And can I check your IDs just to make sure you're supposed to be here?
Oh shoot. All right. Hey, hang on. Give me a second. Y'all got
I
your
think-
IDs?
I think this is when Guff is going to flap in. And I think perch on Haas's shoulder.
Just like humans,
And-
like what humans do.
Exactly,
humans
like
do.
a human does. Exactly. Like, listen, my human believability score is 19. And
They
I
didn't.
think
They didn't like it when Guff went goblin mode.
and Guff is going to very meticulously unzip their fanny pack and kind of like pull out a crumpled piece of paper, but then put it in one of their claws because they need to talk with their thick-billed beak. And Guff is going to look at this guard and say very casually, "Are Are you new here? I haven't seen you around before.
I was hired special for this event. What are you? Am I supposed to know you?
Oh yeah, I'm one of the custodial staff.
Oh. Roll. Is that mischievous? I feel like that's mischievous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
okay. Can I like say something else that could maybe pitch it to something that's more curious?
all right.
Okay. So, I think what Guff is going to do is just going to continue like asking questions with this guard, um, and is basically just going to be like, "Wow, you were hired for this special event. That's so cool. Are you like a freelancer? Like, can I ask like?" Do you make your living this way? Are you being compensated fairly? And slowly but surely, is unfurling this crumpled piece of paper in their claws, and is going to hold it out to this guard, um, and is going to ask, "What do you think about joining a union?"
I was not expecting the union angle.
Okay. All right. Your stat is 4. All right.
Oh my god.
Union curiosity. Okay, yeah, roll.
I'm
Curious.
acting with specific intent to discover and learn something new.
I am checking off on bingo both fuck capitalism and fuck Jeffrey Bezos for that one.
Okay. I feel like
I'm so close to so many bingos.
Me
Alright,
too.
let me see. So my special ability is that I know things, because I'm a raven, and I feel like this
Mhm.
makes sense that I would know about unions. I know about them. So I'm gonna argue for an extra d6 for that. And my background, Guff's background is that they were part of an orphan street gang, Oliver Twist. So I feel like they know pretty well. We're talking to and navigating, talking with authorities and stuff. So I'm gonna argue for a total of 3d6 to roll for
Okay.
this.
I would like to. I will take your 3d6 on the background. But
Mhm.
in order to do so, I'm going to say you can see the look in this guard's eyes that he also was an orphan. He also was an orphan street child. And I'm going to give you an extra d6 as the sense of kinship between you, as a sense of kinship between you blossoms.
Okay.
God.
Thank you for the extra. I'm gonna roll 4d6 now.
No, it's just okay, 3d6. Sorry.
Oh yeah, 3d6. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, there we go. Okay, I see now. 3d6. 1, 2, 3.
That's a success.
Done it. All right. 100% success. Like a small tear comes into the eye of this armed guard. It's like, I never thought. I never. This is the first time. This is the first time I've been asked. I just never really knew how I'd go about like reaching out for this kind of thing. Like it's so the hours in this job are just awful, and the way the management treat us, it just ain't right. Like I have to I have to we have to pay for our own smoke. We have to pay for our own smokes. You realize I have to pay for my own suit. I have to pay for my own suit. Like this
They make you
costs a
pay
lot,
for
and
your own uniform.
they make us pay for our own uniforms. And but what happens if I have to get in a fight and like someone and it gets dirtied up? That's out of my salary. It's out of my salary. And like this guy just is like going like this guy is just going off like that. They're
You
just
broke him.
you have
Guff
a
is
lot-
going. Guff is going to flit over to this onto this guard's shoulder, and sympathetically, very quickly, like preen this guard's hair.
What does
Which
this
is,
guard
you know,
think is
the ra-
happening
the-
if he thinks you're human?
It's the
Man.
it's the Raven equivalent of a hug. And you know, and Guff is just gonna be like, I understand. I
It's all right. Bring it in.
we have the same eyes.
I think the other
we've seen the indignities of everyday life, and I'm here to let you know that it doesn't have to be this way.
the other guard is just straight up crying. It's just absolutely crying, and like just walks. It's like joins you in this like 3-way hug. They are 100% distracted.
Haas like quickly like slips a salmon out of his jacket and like lays it on the ground for like the cats.
Yeah.
And Haas just like stares one of the cats in the eyes and just whispers, "You didn't see anything. We have an accord."
I think the cat looks to the salmon, looks at you, looks at the salmon, looks at you, and I said, "I didn't see anything."
That's
And
right. You didn't
and the
see
two-
anything.
and the two cats just sort of get to chowing down on this salmon, and you can
I like
all
gesture to
make
Mary
your-
Lou, like, get inside before they notice you.
Scamper.
All right. Well, while you finalize that union paperwork, I'm gonna go. Get settled in. Welcome to the team. It's a pleasure working with you.
And okay. You can
Hands on the
all-
stogie, just because.
I think these guards' names are Golly and Ollie. And you know, I get them. I have multiple copies of information about the unions.
Literature to distribute.
Exactly. Listen, my fanny pack contains only the most essential heist materials.
My fanny pack contains multitudes.
My fanny pack contains multitudes and socialism. Yeah.
We love to
So
see
exactly. So I think, you know, Golly and Ollie, I address them by name and everything because I can read and I see their name tags and, you know, all that. You know, we're buddies now. We're comrades.
Okay, I have to shout out Twitch chat real quick. Someone just posted the Chromunist Manifesto.
Yeah. See, when I said comrades, what I really meant was like comrades. You know, caw like a Corvid.
All right, keep it together. Come on, Hoss, you got a job to do.
Also, we got a new donation. We should shout it out.
Oh yeah, new donation time. It's not showing up on the stream. I know
Here,
some of the
I've got it.
Okay.
So, from Wife Wind Rider, which is my wife.
Yeah.
Love this crew
Yay,
of
Wife
definitely
Wind
human.
Rider.
Love this crew of definitely humans. Unionize the guards. Problem for future you, maybe.
That only remains to be seen.
And also, yeah, we met our goal of 1,000, and we've increased our goal up to 2,000. We're just about to hit halfway through the stream, so if we could get to 2,000, that would be
This
so
is
cool.
this is only day 2, and we've already broken our first goal. So
Right.
we're doing real good.
All right.
We're doing great.
Let's bend bars, lift gates. Let's make it to 2000. Let's go.
Let's get that fish.
Get
Only
that
true
fish for black and
comrades know.
pink.
All right, so you're past this first obstacle. You can make your way through into the like the service corridors, thick with bustle. Um, you know, wait staff carrying platters in and out, carrying out lots of like trays full of champagne and canapes and things. The yelling and heat from the kitchens is deafening, but as you sort of wander through these corridors, you can also hear kind of like that sort of like that low susurrus, that murmuring of of a room full of people engaged in polite conversation. Um, where are you? I would say you would know from the floor plans that um, you would need to walk through the main rooms, walk through the main halls, in order to get to a door down to the basement, to that basement area. So that will be your second obstacle on the way down to the basement, is to navigate through this major area. I would also like to point out to make sure you're aware, Emily, that for Guff, their prize is not present in the basement. It is on the person of the host of tonight's
Yes,
evening.
that's what I was thinking.
So,
Thank you for clarifying.
cool. What do you as you all make your way through this party? I think you know what I'm about to say, unless you can either choose to do so through pure stealth, so in which case you'll be rolling your criminals, or you can just choose to blag it, and we'll have ourselves some human believability scores.
So we're all of us are rolling HBS now to blend in with the.
You can choose to do that, or roll criminal in order to stealth your way there. Or if you have another thing you want to do, I will. Those were just the two options I wanted to clarify for you up top.
I think what Guff is going to be doing is just kind of dropping various union pamphlets around. So that's what I'm up to. I'm not sure if that qualifies as stealthy.
One of the billionaires picks this up. It's like, I think I smell a union.
Yeah, I'm dropping it around, especially near the but then also just along the pathway. Like it's like a trail of breadcrumbs, but for revolution.
Yeah, that's definitely a great thing to leave when you're trying to do crime.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think when Haas tries to sneak into events like this, he takes on the persona of like a Texan oil baron. So
Good.
I am going to try and roll HBS to just kind of like blend in to get from this area to a less populated area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally a human.
Oh, so human.
Oh, you're like extremely human.
Howdy, y'all. Just passing through. Great snacks. How about that?
I guess I will also do human believability score. I was thinking I wanted to be stealthy, but you know what? The revolution calls.
The revolution calls.
Let's do 46.
The revolution cause.
Exactly. The revolution cause. I'm still good. I'm still good to go.
I need a redemption. I'm gonna human it up. Oh my goodness! I can't
Oh
do it.
no!
No!
I have a 17. What is happening?
It's just not. Okay. My human score
Bishop,
is 15. So if it's equal to or less than is a success, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mary Lou, you are all making your way through this crowd of Richies, and one of them, and I think just at one point, one of them turns to how is Mary Lou how is Mary Lou making their way through this crowd?
I think she's just going like the edges of it, trying to not be very noticed, like human sneaking, as if like a introvert was trying to get through a crowd, essentially.
Mhm.
And I guess something happens to me.
I guess I want
Bumping somebody.
so you are just walking through the crowd, and I think someone sort of looks down, and there is like a frozen moment as they look at you and you look up at them, and they look at you, and they are about to scream. What do you do in this moment before the scream happens?
Oh my goodness. This is a terrible idea. But someone's got to have like a long dress on. I'm gonna scurry over there before and hope that the person who's about to scream thinks it was just their imagination playing tricks on them.
Yes.
It's like when you go to take out the trash and you just see a possum there, like staring at you, eyes glowing in the moonlight.
God, possums can be like pretty big too. Like,
Can
be.
They're just big old friends. Nothing to scream about.
Yeah, exactly.
Possum's good.
Possum's good.
Okay, what are your current scores?
I'm at 3-3, I think.
I'm also at 3-3.
Cool.
I am currently at 4-2.
I guess. Well, if this human believability thing just messed it up, then I'm 2-4, or 4-2. But
Oh, I succeeded at that, so I'm actually at 4-2.
I didn't realize the HBS rules also affected our stats.
That's what I was questioning. That's what I'm questioning.
I'm just gonna go. It's tricky. I think we'll just run with everything affects the stats. So we'll.
All right. So I'm back to 3-3 then.
Right,
I'm at 4-2.
Yeah, I'm 4 raccoon, 2 domesticated.
Okay. So Mary Lou, how are you? So used to scratch stuff, run and climb, evade damage, trick people, and generally do raccoon stuff. I would accept this being raccoon if you wanted to.
Yeah, it seems run evade. Yeah.
I think you get.
I think I just get the 1.
Yeah.
Yep. That's okay.
Oh hell yeah!
That is under.
Yes.
All right. So now you're at 3-3. This person is like about to scream. You vanish, and you vanish from sight, and now you are beneath a beautiful dress. I think someone has got like a. I'm gonna say there's like a party guest who had like their dress is like a really long train, like the back of the dress is kind of like trailing along the floor, and there is now a suspicious lump beneath that trailing dress.
I'm picturing like a long train, and it's this beautiful like flowing fabric. It's like it's made to look really good on the floor, and it's this wonderful. And then there's just a lump.
It's fine.
That's moving with the dress.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll catch up with you guys. Hopefully.
Okay. Is there any interaction you wish to do here, or are we moving straight on?
Oh, is Bliss here in the space?
Oh, absolutely. Shambo Bliss is at the center of attention, exactly where he loves to be. I'm just gonna say he is in a solid gold suit.
Oh God.
Solid gold suit, white shirt, gold bow tie, slicked back, shoulder length back hair. I'm thinking in my head. He looks a lot like Christian Bale. Is that kind of like Christian Bale, particularly when Christian Bale is like in one of his like thinner roles. So he's like very like his face is just all bones, just like
Oh yeah.
angles on angles, not necessarily like pleasant angles either. It's just like, wow, there are a lot of bones in that face, like that kind of and
He would still qualify to be like a Tumblr sexy man.
Oh, Emily!
but
We're here to steal, so.
But he would accept. Yes. So absolutely he would. But there's also like a vibe of like too manic energy about him. Like he like this guy has too much energy, and it's a little unsettling.
He's a little hard to look
but yeah,
at.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could say something.
So yeah. So yes.
To just keep that to myself.
He is holding court in the middle of this room. And and Guff, I think we sort of do like a crash zoom. He is, of course, flicking his bottle cap, and sort of rolling it around his fingers as he is talking.
Did you want to go for it now or on our way out?
It
Guff
would
is
probably
going.
be... Go ahead.
I think Guff is going to like cock their head and contemplate. I think they're going to say, "I've got some more groundwork to lay here. I'll pick it up on the way out."
Fair enough.
And then I think like Haste and just like drops another Union pamphlet on the ground.
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. All right, then I guess we're trying to like richly walk towards a less populated area of this museum.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you guys
Okay.
wealthily walk. I'm just a janitor.
Don't mind me. I'm just the janitor.
Out of my out of my fanny pack, I have a tiny little toy broom. And in my beak, in my beak, it's like a sweeper. And
Is this
in my
like
beak,
part
I
of your
sweep.
disguise? If like
Yeah.
someone's looking at you, they just
Yeah.
see like a janitor with a
Yeah.
broom.
Yeah.
And multiple
foolproof.
Union pamphlets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know workers, right? Yeah, no, Haas is just sort of like making his way through, taking like the little hors d'oeuvres off of like silver platters that like waitstaff is carrying. Just like a little mini crab cake here, a shrimp cocktail there. Anything that he can kind of get his paws on.
Perfect. Then you
So where
all
in the
make
museum
your
are
way.
have we gotten out of the rich people section?
Fresh sound.
Yes, 100%.
So
I'm
how
just.
close are we to the basement?
I was genuinely just about to say, you are. I think you have made your way over to sort of like a lift, like so. There are the ways down to the basement. There is that you can take a lift. You can also take a sort of a stairwell down, uh, whichever you would prefer.
I think we should take the stairs down. Or I think what Swan John says, the stairs are going to be a lot stealthier. Elevators beat.
Mhm.
Right, we don't want to alert too much attention. I'll keep a lookout right now before we head downstairs because we need to have Mary Lou catch up with us.
Oh yeah, I think that Swan John didn't notice what happened to Mary Lou. She's like, oh yeah, where is Mary Lou?
Well, if I had to hazard a guess, she's still in the room with all the rich people.
What's she doing there? Rich people suck.
I know, but we had to walk through there to get here. That's the whole reason we're here.
Mhm.
Yeah, so why isn't she here?
Sometimes complications happen. Mary Lou's new. Cut her some slack. I believe in her.
Um,
Do we want to cut
so
back to Mary Lou and see what Mary Lou is up to right now?
Sure.
I was going to say. So I think we can. I would like to set these two scenes happening at the same time. So so on the one hand, uh, Guff, Guff, Hoss, and Swan John have made it down to the um, basement, and um, you make it through. You make it in. You know you sort of like creak open a door, and you just see and you can just see before you um, this sort of giant uh, this giant room, um, and I don't know what these places look like in reality, so I'm just going to say, rolling on with Indiana Jones references, it looks like the place at the end of Indiana Jones. It looks like at the end of the first one, which the name of it,
Raiders of
but
the
the
Lost
place where all
Ark.
the top men, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
top
yeah.
men, and that's where you are. It's just full of crates and boxes. And just to make sure you know which ones are the right ones, a bunch of them are labeled, are just like stamped auction on them. That is what is happening with you. Uh, that is what is happening with you, and you can also note that beneath these crates are of course these pressure plate alarm systems. There are walkways that are safe. That sort of you can walk through the crates, but the crates themselves are resting on pressure plates. Mary Lou, on the other hand, is sort of settled beneath beneath these this train. And I think that did happen in that set of rolls is you did get up to 4 chaos points. So I would like Mary Lou to roll
Oh
on
no.
the sneak conk complications table. No, not the sneak conk, sorry, on the binge season complications table.
Okay.
It's about to get complicated.
So that's but wait.
Yeah. All right. So let's get a D6 in there. Whoop. 2.
2.
Animal control's on route. Oh no.
You peek out from the train, from underneath the train, and you can see that I'm gonna say it's a lady. I'm gonna say it's this elderly, this like older rich lady, is like talking into her phone, and she has called and you
Can I
hear with
pitch
your
for?
super possum hearing. Ooh.
Can I very quickly pitch that this lady is played by Gillian Anderson?
In which case, she is not at all panicked. She is entirely calm, and just like but she's very calmly explaining to the animal control people that she has called that she saw a possum, and that she recently saw a possum, and would someone please could they please send around someone discreet in order to capture this animal. And animal control is en route.
Oh no.
Awful.
They'll never take me alive. And then play a ghost. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, animal controls en route.
Yeah, I mean, to get out of here, like, that doesn't super change that I gotta get out of this room somehow.
Yeah.
It just makes the future more scary. I guess I'm gonna try to just stay under. I'm just gonna try to follow this dress until like the wearer gets to the edge of the room and try to like sneak around on the outside.
Cool.
What?
You can absolutely do this. Roll. I think you can. Are you still in Raccoon?
Run and climb. I mean, unless it's trick people. Otherwise, if it's trick people. Otherwise, it doesn't seem raccoony.
I think trick people. You're tricking people. This is like yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing some proper raccoon stuff here. So yeah.
There we go. All right.
So
3 tied.
Nice.
Yes.
So you do it. Yeah. You manage to sneak your way past. Are you following your compatriots?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you are now. So that was a success. So you are now. So you were 3-3. So now you are 2-4.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I guess an exhilarated Mary Lou meets Haas at the top of the stairs.
Mary Lou, what happened?
Someone called me. I had to hide. It was it was actually pretty cool. I like got through the whole room under a dress, but animal control.
That's impressive.
It's very creative of you.
Yeah, but also again, animal control is coming. So.
Oh no. I can't go back. Starts making his way down to the stairs.
I ain't going back.
You can't make me go back to Colorado.
Wait. Hold on. In this universe, animal control is also immigration control.
Well, I think it's more that just like, hey, we're gonna rescue you and bring you back to your natural habitat.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Also,
it's like, what is a North American grizzly bear doing in this definitely European city? I'm imagining.
Yeah. Also, no offense to people that live in Colorado, but also just
you can't make me go back
to Colorado.
Smokey will never let me live this down. It's already smug enough as it is.
Okay, so are we? So we're in the basement now. Then, since all of us are together, we go down the stairs. We're in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out a map of the basement. One of the maps that we had stolen earlier that we had I want to actually wait. Hang on, let me. What are my stats right now? They even no forward to. I would like to try to. I would like to navigate us to where I think our stuff is. Our stuff would be. Is that something I could do? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say you can do that without rolling because you already cased the joint.
right. Okay. So I think I'm taking the lead, and I'm like, you know how in cartoons when when people are sneaking and they're like walking on tippy toes and their arms are like up,
Yep.
like it's a very Scooby Doo thing. I'm doing that, but with my really big wings, just tip toe, tip toe, tip toe,
Flap, flap, flap.
Mm-hmm.
flap, 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 flap.
Clap, 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 clap.
Yep. Extremely good.
You say anything, Swan John?
Oh, nothing yet.
Oh, I think Guff is going to be on the lookout for. I don't know if security would be in the basement, but I think what I mean is, like a command center for security.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So I think so as much as I do love this, it does seem odd to me for the security system.
I would agree with that. That would be pretty
based-
weird.
It's like, let's put us all in the same room.
Exactly. It's all the same spot for sure.
But I want to give something. So, but for example, like these, like for those controls to be in a different place, there would need to be wiring, for example, that like to like carry those to like carry the triggers of those controls. So you could definitely look for the connections to those areas for sure.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm scouting out to find those connection points.
Cool. Like wires, like fuse boxes, like those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Roll me curious.
Awesome. I guess this could be related to me being a criminal, I guess. So I guess maybe 2d6, but I'm also just down to roll 1, like whatever you think.
You know stuff. You're a raven.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I know stuff. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, 2. Ooh, I got my number.
Nice. What happens in Corvid capers when you get your number?
Let me see.
Oh no. Wait.
Hey, if my roll is
Corvid
equal,
Keepers doesn't have because that's a
no, Corvid Capers does have it. It's critical success. If your roll is equal to your
Yeah.
number, that means that you succeed at your task and also gain a deeper insight into what it means to be a bird. Tell the table how you succeeded and what exactly it is that you learned.
And this is the equivalent of laser feelings from Lasers and Feelings?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us how you succeed.
Yes. So, okay, I think. Okay, so I think what I learned about being a bird is that birds build nests out of all different kinds of materials, and they get those materials from all different sorts of places. And I don't think Guff is like suddenly going to be building a nest, but what I think Guff is learning over the course of finding fuse boxes and wires and just generally following, and like flapping around and finding like connection points, is that with their big beak, because thick-billed ravens have like very big beaks, they can still use their beak like pretty delicately to just like snip snip some wires. And I think like I think what Guff learns is that they have not necessarily a compulsion, but like an animal instinct to organize the bits of wires they've collected into a kind of nest.
Perfect.
Sometimes a house can be a loosely compiled pile of broken wires.
Yeah, I think with this new insight into your birds, into the delicacy of nest construction, the delicate arts of nest construction, you 100% uh, disable these. You can disable any pressure plates that you so wish.
Excellent.
As you stealthily, as you gently separate deactivate the wiring.
I'm very dainty about it. I put some of the wire scraps in my fanny pack for later.
Imagining like a raven with like a pair of wire cutters, stripping the wires for copper, and saving the rubber outsides for later.
And I think with this, and between this and Swan John's knowledge of the basement, you managed to safely acquire the objects that you had come for. But but it's going to take some time for you. It is going to take some time for you to do this. And I'm going so I'm going to fill in a segment on this animal control clock that I have drawn. As you we're also playing Blades in the Dark. And we as you find all of your objects, so I would like to now stay here. So Swan John, here's something I propose to you about what your painting looks like. Your painting is you didn't know what you knew what this painting was called. This painting was called A Day in the Life. And as you as you take this painting out of its giant box, you see why it is so important. You see why this painting was truly priceless, and it is because this painting is magical, and what it does is it turns into a representation. Whoever looks into it sees an average day in their life.
Oh my
painted,
god!
Painted in the style of their favorite artist. So what does Swan John see when they look at this painting?
I think that they see them as a oh, you know what? I think you see them as a cygnet, a baby swan, just like floating in the water in a pond, and it's in the style of Van Gogh.
Does Swan John Silver have a baby?
No, this is a picture of Swan John as a baby.
Oh, okay.
A day in the life of Swan John.
Okay, I get
Everyone
it.
uncheck
That's
your
also
phone
very
now. Here we
cute.
go.
Sorry to disappoint you, Emily.
That's okay. I forgive you. The only thing you could possibly do to make it up to me is have Swan John Silver have like a cute little eye patch on, because he's pretending to be a pirate like Long John Silver.
Yeah, okay. It's Swan John as a cygnet with a pirate hat and an eye patch.
Yes. In the style of Van Gogh.
In the style of Van Gogh.
Oh my god. Just perfect. Okay, tell me, or how are you? Uh, what are you doing with your objects?
I have like you know how so there's two different ways you can transport a painting, right? There's like you can transport it in the frame, in which case you need like a hard case for it that's like a square, it slides right in. Or there's you take the painting out of the thing and you roll it up into a painting tube. I think that I have the painting tube option, and so I think I dismantle the frame and I put it into the painting tube, and that's strapped around my back.
Perfect. Mary Lou, what are you doing with the deed?
I mean, I got these pouches. So all of our things on the pressure sensitive things? But just
Yes.
okay, yeah. Just wanted to remember.
Oh,
They
well,
were there.
that's good. I'm still leaving the frame up then. I'm just removing the painting from the frame. So the
Well,
weight
I
is-
disabled the pressure sensitive
Oh, right, right,
alarms,
right.
so
Perfect.
we're
Oh,
good.
right, you did. Yeah.
You're good to go. Like however you choose to do this, like you're good.
All right, good, because I was totally prepared to put a fish on this pressure plate.
Okay, I need you to know,
I knew
Derek.
that's what it was gonna be.
I was waiting for someone to suggest that, and I'm like, on the one hand, like I'm happy I
I mean, I could still put a fish on the pressure
You can
plate
still do
as
it.
like a
You
calling
could
card.
forget. Yeah,
You can never
it's a
lose
calling
the character.
card. Oh my god.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, this is what this is what Haas does. Haas places the remaining fish head like on like the pedestal that the ultra dense mega
Terrifying.
honey was sitting on as like a calling card.
Some fucking Godfather shit.
Oh my god, it's like the horse.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Terrible.
Oh my god, no.
The Godfather theme starts playing on like kazoos or some shit. Like
There's just paracord as it like zooms in on the fish's head. Like, ah!
Look at how they've massacred my boy.
I think I'm gonna replace mine anyway, just because for future, like it's weird to steal a deed to a house and then like, hey, obviously whoever like gets that stole it if they're gonna go end up
Mhm.
living there. So I'm gonna like replace mine with just like another like basically write up for a deed to a place. That's like probably not official or anything, but I'm just gonna swap that out. That goes out of the pocket.
Is it a real place?
No.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
it's definitely like a house number that's like in between two of them.
Wait. Oh, if we're all swapping out things, I know exactly what I'm putting in place of the picture. I shared this. I shared this in our chat earlier. But there's been a wanted poster that's been made
yeah.
of
Oh my
Swan John
god,
Silver.
yes!
And if someone's in the Roll Plus ref chat, reference chat, Twitter, they can tweet this out for us. It's basically just this really bad doodle of a swan wearing sunglasses.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good. Is this like in One Piece where Sanji doesn't have a proper wanted poster for a really long time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swan's just so good that they don't really know exactly what he looks like.
We think he might be a bird.
He might
I mean,
be a
they
bird, but we don't know.
I can
They
only
certainly-
imagine the like briefing room style scene where whatever like I don't know, like law enforcement chief or whatever is like standing at the front of the room is like, all right, today here's our target. Pulls down projector screen and it's just this really poorly drawn doodle of a swan.
Here's the thing. People don't necessarily know what Swan John Silver looks like, but they certainly know what Swan John Silver sounds like.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. God, I love being a criminal.
A criminal.
Criminal.
We love to crime.
A criminal.
Criminals.
All right. Let's set the scene for what I think is the final challenge. So,
Okay.
Oh, that's right, the bottle cap.
you've
Never forget the bottle cap, Darren.
So we have we have three people exiting the basement. We have Swan John Silver with the painting in a tube on their back. We have Mary Lou with a deed to the house that they and the dream house that she and her mother shared, stuffed into the pocket of their dress. We have Hoss. Did it say how Hoss was carrying the honey?
How big is the jar? Like, is it a big jar of honey or?
Well, now that you've asked that, yes, it's a huge jar of honey. It's
Alright.
it's like a proper Winnie the Pooh. It's like a proper Winnie the
good.
Pooh with honey on it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, my second cousin Winnie will love this.
Just associated with all bears.
I'm related to every famous bear. I've got a cousin in Pennsylvania. His name's Yogi.
Wait,
Anyway.
isn't Yogi Bear in Yellowstone?
Yeah, but there's a park in Pennsylvania called Jellystone.
Oh my gosh!
God.
Oh my gosh! You know Hank the Tank.
You know Hank. Oh no!
I know Hank the Tank is a personal friend of
the
mine.
healer and Hank the DPS.
Exactly. You know all of the Hanks.
Yep.
Hank the Tanks.
Hank the support, Hank the tank, and Hank the DPS.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think Haas is just like straight up just carrying this jar of honey. Like, nothing to see here. It's a jar of honey.
Fantastic.
I love it.
And okay, all right. So now you have gotten out of the basement. You're almost free to go, but you have one more objective to get. How do you guys feel? We could take a break here, or we could keep on going.
I think we're really close to the end, so if we can push through, I think that might work best. But I'm also down to take a break too, whichever works for people.
Yeah, I'm down to do whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm down to keep going if we're up for it.
Yeah.
Sean?
Yep.
Cool. All right, then let's keep going. What do you do?
Cool. So Guff has a bit of an extended scheme here. So Guff is the state phase 1 was scattering Union pamphlets strategically throughout the building. Phase 2 is going to be chatting with low-level employees who nevertheless provide really important roles and functions to the overall, workings of this auction and the museum in general. And basically, what I want to do is organize a simultaneous mass walkout, which will distract everyone long enough for me to just snag the bottle cap and
Oh my God.
promote labor rights.
There's always an
Fantastic. Okay,
alternative.
I will say this will tick the clock closer to animal control arriving. If you are okay with this, cool.
That makes sense to me. I guess Mary Lou, are you okay with that?
Yeah. It's fine.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Roll to see which of your curious or mischievous stats is
That's a good
union
question.
organizing?
Okay. If I want to act with specific intent to discover and learn something new, it's curious. If you want to act with the specific intent to destroy and cause trouble, that means you're mischievous. I don't know. This is tough.
I don't know.
Sure,
I
causing
mean,
trouble
I
for
feel like
rich
you're
people.
acting with. Yeah.
Yeah. This
You're
seems
acting
okay.
to destroy capitalism.
Yeah, I'm acting to destroy capitalism. This is great
Yep.
because my bad stat. Okay, cool. All right. I'm gonna say I'm a raven. I know things, and that means I know how to
Mhm.
like talk to people about the dangers of capitalism. So I think that's 2d6, and then my general background as an orphan street gang member, lends me credibility. And yeah, I think 3d6 is what we're gonna fly with over here.
It's a
Do
hard
it.
knock life for
Oh my
us.
god.
It's a
You
hard
just-
knock life for us.
That's a
All
4.
failures.
Okay,
wait.
I was about to challenge that extra 3d6, but now that Hard Knock Life is going, yeah, 3d6.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I failed either way, so
Oh no. Okay, I want to. So I want to do I want to do an Austin Walker special here. In that, you
Two things.
do. Not two things happen at once.
Okay.
You succeed, but in the worst way possible.
Oh
Yay!
no.
no.
my favorite.
Which is that you which is that you do succeed in creating in causing a ruckus and so making people sort of like stop and reflect. Like you're talking to these waiters. A waiter picks up some of these some of
Pamphlet.
your union pamphlets and just like, oh yeah, I never really thought about it this way. Wait a minute. And instead of instead of engaging in a simultaneous synchronous walkout,
Yeah.
they just start like, hey, give me your money, and they just start robbing the guests.
Good.
They jump the syndicalist phase and move straight into appropriation of property.
Okay, yeah. They are here to seize the means of production.
They're seizing.
Haas kicks to like the jukebox in the corner and it starts playing "Bad Reputation" by Joan Jett.
Yes. Oh my god.
So on the one hand, people are definitely distracted. On the other hand, things have gotten a little bit out of hand.
It's
Okay.
the perfect cover.
What's a heist
Exactly.
if it doesn't go perfectly wrong?
Yeah, like that's the thing. There is no. That's the thing in my view of Heist is that either everything goes perfectly or everything has to go wrong. There can't be an in between. There is no saving it once it goes wrong. You have to go from all quiet to all loud. Which is why I.
Oh, very quickly. Adam B. Our GM. So Corvid Capers also has like a chaos thing. I failed here. Yeah.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? And I've lost. I have been keeping track. And I think what may have happened is that you took -1 chaos as a result of a critical, but you just created another point of chaos, and I feel like that took you back up to 4.
That tracks.
Run a roll that 1d8.
Yeah. We roll the 1d8.
Oh yeah.
Let me get that moving and grooving over here. All right. That's a 2.
An alarm goes off. Oh
Well, that makes
no.
sense.
Guff.
Oh.
You're really good at making a nest. I mean, you made a beautiful nest,
Oh
but
no.
and somewhere along the lines, your aesthetic sense got ahead of your criminal sense, and
That makes sense.
you started picking out the wires that looked better together rather than the wires that cut off the alarm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
No.
It created a little bit of a delay, but unfortunately, one of the pressure plates did go off. An alarm is going off, and oh, and also, and there is a slight hiss in the air as the knockout gas has been released.
Oh my god.
No.
Okay, gotta act fast.
Yeah.
Gotta fly fast here. All right, so
I am starting a clock for knockout.
Oh my goodness.
It is a 4-step.
Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. I could just try to like swipe the bottle cap, but I'm bad at being mischievous. Huh.
Do you want me
Okay.
to help?
I was like, do you want me to help as well?
Yeah, I think
I am a grizzly bear. My skill is terrify.
Oh, well. That might be useful here.
I'm a swan. My ability is honk. Which is, the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when you honk, you reveal your rows of goose teeth. So, that's pretty scary.
Oh my god, yeah,
Geese
geese
have
have
teeth.
teeth. Oh, geese have teeth. Oh.
Geese teeth.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm a
Teeth.
swan. I'm not a goose. Is the thing. But
Oh,
swan
that's
teeth.
true.
Swans do also have teeth. I think. Yeah, they do.
Swans have teeth. Sweet,
Now I'm
if you
sad
will.
again.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay. Huh. Okay, if I want, I'm trying to just think of an interesting way to use my curious stat. If I have to use mischievous, that's fine. But I'm thinking really quickly about like, if I want to act with a specific intent to discover and learn something new. Okay. You know what? We're gonna go for broke here. Is it cool if I do a brief, very bullshit, not monologue, but just pitch about Guff's backstory?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
cool. So the reason Guff's human believability score is a 19, the reason that it's so high is that they used to be human. They used to be they used to be a human orphan street child, in part of a street gang, a la Oliver Twist. And they figured out eventually that the leader of the street gang was like a not great person, like not just a criminal, but like a bad person. And Guff was going to expose them, but then was of course betrayed by their best friend. And I think in the process of getting betrayed and getting basically banished from this gang, they got turned into a raven. So they've kind of been living with this curse for a while now. Like they're an adult and everything in human years, whatever. And I think like for the most part, they're pretty chill about being a raven. Like I don't think they're necessarily like, wow, I want to break the curse. But I think I think in this moment maybe I think what I'm going to pitch here is that somehow could it be could it be like a bad could the way that they got cursed, could it be this weird like bad magical batch of bliss soda that got tossed onto me and I turned into a raven? And
You
so
heard it here
I
first,
want
folks.
listen, I want to steal this bottle cap, but first what I want to do is find out if if Shambo Bliss knows that their product cursed me and that it's. So I think what I'm going to do is like fly up to them. I think perch perch on their head, and look down at them. So this person is going to see a bird look at them from the other. This is the big beak, and it's going to open. And you should know that thick-billed ravens have particularly low and croaky like cawing sounds. Like if you think of a raven, they kind of be high pitched or mid range, but thick-billed ravens are really low. So this low croaky voice just says, "Do you know what you've done?"
Oh my god.
Okay. I think roll curiosity.
Okay, great, cool. I don't think this counts as for a pickpocket. I think it does count for me knowing things. I think that's 2d6. Yeah.
If we're going with if Haas and Swan John want to do their terrify and honk, if they succeed, I'd give you a +1 for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do
Okay,
you want
cool.
just one of us to help? I think just one of us to help makes sense, but we could both help.
I'm down for whatever. Like, y'all decide.
I mean, I know the way that Haas is going to try and terrify Shampoo Bliss.
Okay, how?
I'm gonna pick him up by his lapels.
Okay, and then I'll honk in his face. Perfect. That works. So I'm gonna do 2d6 because honk and also the base, right? So you should also get 2 as well.
Okay.
For
I was gonna
terrified,
say,
right?
okay, yeah. Well, I take the lowest of the 2, right? What happens?
Right.
Both of my stats are 3. What happens when I match?
Then you need to. Then if you get a 3, it still passes.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool. So that succeeds.
Okay, because I'm at 3. Where's my numbers at? Hang on, I've been editing them in the spreadsheet. 3. Okay, I succeed.
Cool.
So I was going as goose. I was doing goose because I'm honking, and now I'm up to 4-2.
All right. But you both succeed, so you are both now at 4-2.
Yeah.
And roll, and now Guff rolls curiosity.
Okay, so I'm rolling 3. I'm rolling 3 dice. All right, let's go.
Is this
Whoa! I got my number and I succeeded.
Holy shit. Okay.
What does it mean to be a bird?
Yes. First of all, what does it mean to be a bird? What do you learn about being a bird?
Okay, so I think Guff remembers being a human being. Guff remembers being a human child and a human teenager, and then got turned into a bird. And I think in this moment, as they're asking, I keep wanting to say Champagne Bliss, but that's not his name.
That's definitely a brand flavor they have. They definitely have champagne. They definitely market their own champagne.
Some of their friends do call them champagne.
For sure. So anyway, as I'm asking Champagne Bliss about do you know what you've done? As in do you know that you had this faulty product that gave me this curse, whatever. I think in this moment, this is when Guff is going to fully let go of the idea that they could ever be turned back human again. Because to be a bird is to fly free and embrace the freedom of the skies. So yeah, I think Guff's still going to ask, but less out of a need to know, and more just because they're curious.
Fantastic. Okay, so Shambo is standing in the middle of this party, he was having a lovely conversation with several very wealthy people when suddenly one of the wait staff, who appeared to have been reading a pamphlet briefly, so it's like suddenly turned around, yelled for the people, and just like flung their entire tray of champagne flutes at them. Suddenly drenched in champagne. Shambo stumbles, looks around himself, utter bedlam, looks around. There's a swan. It honks right in his face. He stumbles backwards into something. It's like, it feels like a wall, but it's furry. He turns round. It's a bear. The bear lifts him into the air and roars. He's absolutely, he 100% pisses his pants.
We're in deep now.
And then he feels something land on his head. He looks up. It's a bird. The bird speaks to him and asks him, "Do you know what you've done?"
You know, when you put it that way, it feels like a fever dream.
Yeah. Also, not to mention that all around them, their staff is now holding up the other patrons.
Yeah, it's turned into a stick up. And there's also just in front of him, apropos of any of the other animals that are harassing them right now, there's just a possum. There's just a possum right there.
Yeah, can we ask what Mary Lou is doing in this moment?
Yeah.
Mary Lou's gonna try to be intimidating here because trying to commit to the bit, obviously.
Yeah.
I think just grab like a random thing out of her pocket. It's probably, what would she even have in there?
What do you have there?
Is it just like it's probably like a brush or something.
A
Or
brush.
like a little comb.
Oh, is it one of
and,
those
like, sticks it
switchblade
out.
combs?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, I would hope. You would hope, but unfortunately not.
Aw.
Actually, no.
roll
Actually, it could be,
possum.
because it flips out and it's just a comb, and it's like, oh, well, it's fine. Just like to see, and just hold it out as if they could.
It's like the menacing notion of like the action of a switchblade, and then it's just the comedic release of, oh, it's just a comb.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mary Lou's committed to the bit, so like, she's legit about this.
Mm-hmm.
Can Mary Lou roll possum, please?
Yes. Oh no. It's not gonna be going. Well, nope. Failure.
No.
No.
Mary Lou can't catch a break this heist.
It's fine.
It's okay. Failure means that she learns and grows.
Uh-huh.
True, this is like very much on the job training right now.
Yeah. Look, I can do one thing. I didn't even get to do it the whole time because it wasn't relevant. It's fine.
Oh no! Roll another dice. This is face.
Oh, you're right. It is face.
Oh yeah. You are the face.
I do it. I did the thing.
You did.
Yes.
You done did it. You did it.
That's not a raccoon.
By
not a possum
God.
anymore.
Let's go,
God, that
Mary
possum's got a comb.
Yeah, so he hears like the raven croaks. Do you know what you've done? And out of the corner of his eye, just amidst all of this swirling chaos, he just sees a possum, and the possum just flicks open a comb, and that above everything is just he goes. He's out. He's just out.
He goes catatonic.
He goes catatonic. He mumbles. He goes catatonic, and what I'm going to say is really like with one last spasm, he flicks that his bottle cap. It sort of rises turning slowly in the air, and it lands Mary Lou, I think, right in one of your open pores.
Yes.
Nice.
That's so good.
Amazing. I think, yeah, do we just, like, book it for the door then? Because of this knockout gas?
Oh yeah, we have knockout gas
Oh.
and animal control.
Yeah,
Defending.
I kind of I drop Shambo Bliss. Like,
Drop
Wait,
them like
I
a sack of potatoes.
I
Or
did
a
just
pile of
realize
fish.
something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Sack of
We're
fish.
gonna mirror the beginning. Because I
Oh
think
my
we're gonna
god, yes!
We're gonna book it to the door, and as we're booking it to the door, I think that Swan John smashes the fire alarm. So there's a loud alarm that starts ringing.
Well, no, there's already an alarm going off. There's already an alarm going off.
There's already an alarm going off. You're right. Yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
you can
Well,
still
now there's
activate the
also
fire
fire.
alarm
Oh,
for shit.
Still activate the fire alarm. Yeah.
Okay, Swan John, you activate the fire alarm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this place is rigged to blow, and you pulled the wrong thing.
No!
Oh my god! And then, so I have a question. Do we just replay? Was the beginning in media res? In media res?
No, but
So you're probably wondering how I got in this situation.
But I love the mirroring, the mirroring 100%. So
And it's
the
like,
theme song
so
starts
Haas is
playing.
running out first, is saying,
Yeah.
"We gotta go, guys."
I'm just imagining like Tank, the Cowboy Bebop theme, like playing as
Oh, see, I was thinking bad dog, no biscuits.
that also.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there are so many good songs that could be overlaid on top of this scene.
Yeah.
Bakano theme. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, can we
I was also
can we
thinking on the
burst out a
opposite
window?
things, the yakety sax.
Okay, everyone state your character's theme tune as you exit. So, Hoss, you're playing the Cowboy Bebop theme tune.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's ba-da, and then and what does Hoss do?
Yeah, just kind of like tuck and rolls like out like a back window because Bonnie and Clyde are parked out back.
Right.
He knows how to stop, drop, and roll because of his cousin Smokey.
Yeah, he learned how to stop, drop, and roll from his cousin Smokey, and so he just combat rolls out the window. Glass just shatters everywhere. The two guards standing there, still just sort of like a little weepy, like arms around each other.
Golly and golly.
Yeah, golly golly. And Haas just Haas just like tips his cowboy hat at them, like, "It's been a pleasure, gentlemen," and makes a run for Bonnie and Clyde, revving the engine as he waits for his compatriots.
And going down the list, Emily, what is Guff's theme tune as Guff exits, and how does Guff do it?
Okay, Guff's theme tune is the Bakano theme song. Which goes like da 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 dee dee bum 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 bum. It's sick, and so that's what Guff is doing, and I think like I think some employees know that the wrong alarm has been pulled. So I think what Guff is doing is helping to lead evacuation efforts to get all the workers out. And I think what this looks like is instead of Guff like slipping into someone's backpack or pocket or whatever, Guff is perched on top of the head of one of the workers and loudly calling to get people out.
Perfect. Adam, what are you? What's Swan John's theme tune, and how is he getting out?
So I think that we hear yakety sax playing, dan, 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 he's playing, and he's just going, honk! And like wings are just flapping. First, I know that Haas already broke through one of the windows. It breaks through a different window.
We're just bent on causing property damage.
Flapping the wings and lands in the in the sidecar.
Hey, Adam, can you honk again? Because I think Chris yeeted your wonderful honks.
Huh?
Well, we kind of heard that one.
And Sean, finally, what is Mary Lou's theme tune, and how does she exit the building?
Yeah, her theme tune is the ending song from a woman called Fujiko Mine. And I think like the drink cart or something is like already in motion, and she hops into that out and like rides it out the door.
Yes.
That's so good.
Yes.
Ah,
Oh, I love it.
Oh, and I think and I think that as you all exit, and as everyone in the building, you just turn back and you see you see just the building explode behind you. Just a wave of like force just blows out every window up top, including the awful billionaire condos at the top of the building.
Good. That's the most important thing.
And just to keep the ending happy, I think someone next to you does say, "Oh, thank goodness they moved all of the good art to the reinforced basement." And yeah,
Can there be a quick shot of animal control showing up to this building in absolute ruins?
what? Yeah, 100%. I think we have 25 minutes, so I would love a quick caption of a quick epilogue. It's if it's a few months down the line, what are all of our crime animals doing post heist? Where do we see them post heist?
I need a second to think about this, so someone else could go first. I wasn't sure if we were going to go in order.
I know exactly what Guff is doing. So Guff's, childhood best friend in the Orphan Street gang betrayed them when they tried to expose their leader's corruption. And I think this best friend who's now like an adult, former best friend who's now an adult criminal, has become the head of this faction. And basically, while we're doing Animal Crimetime Medley, this former best friend is a faction leader in Blades in the Dark. So what I think Guff is doing is working on taking them down from the inside.
Nice. Using the magic contained within this, yeah. The pristine bottle cap shining around. Is the bottle cap now on the necklace?
Yeah, exactly. They added it. They added it onto the pearl necklace. So they got the pearl necklace with the bottle cap as like a little charm on it.
Perfect. As it shines on them.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Sorry, I just saw Cowboy Bebop and I. You're like an actual criminal. Who else is an animal epilogue?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, Mary Lou's moving her family into the dream home. It's Mary Lou, Billy, Twitch, Uncle Scratchums. They're all getting in there.
Uncle
Scratchums. I think Twitch is like the youngest family member, and Mary Lou's kind of like teaching them how to like how to like eat like a fish, like how to fish, and also how to and at the same time giving a monologue about how to trick people, basically trying to, if they ever want to do crime life, here's a good thing if you ever need it.
Perfect. We see we see Mary Lou happy amidst her family, no longer a rookie, now a skilled professional criminal, and passing on her skills to the next generation. Um, uh, who? Epilogue 3. Who's up?
I have one for Haas.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think like we get like a camera shot of like kind of like swooping in on like Haas's motorcycle, like driving down like a highway, um, uh, back home, and he like makes his way probably to like LA or like a similar city, and like we get like the image of like a dark and smoky room, like little bits of light like peeking in through like shuttered blinds. There is like some sort of like mafia like violin music like playing in the background or something like that.
Mhm.
And Haas like walks in through the door, and this like big office chair like spins around, and there's this very tiny frog
Yes!
with like an equally small mustache, and like a slicked back toupee. And Haas just walks in and says, "Big Jim, I'll just hit the jackpot," and pulls pulls out the big jar of ultra dense mega honey and places it on the desk. And just the frog just like nodding very sagely.
Okay, can I pitch that as the frog nods very sagely, the frog's tongue flicks out and licks their eyeball?
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Big Jim Croaky licks his eyeball and signals for like one of his like handlers to like write out a check. And then Haas like reaches for the jar, is like, "Can I get like just a little taste?" And like, just frog slap on the paw.
Fantastic. We Haas departs having received an enormous payday. And
Yeah,
we see Big Jim
paying off that
Croaky.
debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, paying off that debt.
Yeah, he is indebted to Big Jim Croaky. Like it was more of like an employer-employee relationship, but like he was definitely in debt.
See, Haas is a free bear. We see Haas leave a free bear finally. And Swan John.
I think that we just see it's a picture of we just see the camera looking at it's the I think of another museum name. It's the Major Jennings Art History Museum. It's the
The
MJAM. MJAM.
MJum.
John.
Anyway, so we see it hovering over the like we see the sign in front of the museum, and then from the distance you just hear honk, and then the alarm going off, and I think that's where it ends.
Yes. Oh.
Swan John lives to crime again.
Oh. I think that is absolutely going to do it for us here. This has been Crimetime Medley from Roll Plus Bond. In raising money for Black and Pink, please go and donate if you can. Next up on stream, we will have Spelljammers being facilitated by Devin. It is I have not played it, but from what I can tell, it is a truly wild game of ridiculous wizardry and magic. And I'm sure it will be just as wild a time as the one that we have enjoyed here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you all who joined us, and thank you to my players for just the best creations. These crime animals have stolen many things today, but they have also stolen my heart.
I need like a Possum Family sitcom solely for Uncle Scratch'em.
Just an anthology show of these characters. Please give it to me.
Absolutely.
All right.
Baron to be wild.
Hi everyone.
Cindy, you can take us out, I think. Thank you so much. And thank you also to our stream host, Cindy.
Yes.